have seen, like done all the challenges that have seen a rise in my business, right? So
Yeah.
I have seen, like fourth quarter, I started, stabilizing where I was doing 8 to 10 orders a month.
Yeah.
And I was getting that $100 to $150 a week in sales.
Yeah.
And it's stabilized, right?
Yeah.
Now, you do know what's going on in the US and all the lovely, hey, today we have a tariff, tomorrow we don't. Maybe this one is excluded, maybe this one's not. And then we also have Joann Fabrics, where most of us crafters get our fabric going out of business. So that has put a lit of fire under all kinds of things as well. So we've got all kinds of turmoil here in the US.
Yeah.
January and February were pretty good months. March dropped off. And April has continued to decline. So I'm like going, okay, I know the economy is dragging, et cetera, but I need to do what I can do in order to keep my business moving, rather than just go, oh, well, hands up, the economy sucks, kind of thing. So,
yeah. Okay, cool. So what I would say is, you said that January and February were pretty good months. So talk to me a little bit about what you were doing during those months, because obviously, like what you've just said you don't want to just put your hands up and go, oh,
So I have been posting on social media 3 times a week. That has been steady.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
My biggest seller during those 2 months was my reversible placemat for Valentine's Day. It was a huge seller. I mean, it was like, I couldn't keep them in stock. Okay. But Easter stuff did not take off. I sold one group of 4 placemats for Easter. I sold some stuffed bunnies, but Easter, the Easter holiday, nothing took off.
Okay.
And yes, there was advertising for it. There were teases, engaging the community, et cetera. It's just like, because of what's been happening in the world, people just kind of, or maybe because Easter was late, I'm not quite sure, just, dove.
Yeah. I think Easter being late has kind of really messed a lot of patterns up, because if you're comparing like March last year to March this year, we didn't have Easter. The kiddos weren't off. It wasn't a thing. Whereas when you're comparing April this year to April last year, it's all a little bit wonky, because it doesn't take into account that Easter is different times,
So I am still up over last year. So, overall, I'm still up. But
well, that's good, because a lot of people are not, because obviously with the US stuff going on, it's like turmoil.com over there, right? Where you just don't know if you cut.
But you can just see it. You can see in my stats. January, then February drops down, then March drops down, and April drops down. Like, okay, look at that.
Yeah. Okay, so in terms of, I'm just looking at your space and just kind of having a little look. So in terms of tweaks that I would suggest, I think personally what I've been seeing across the board is that, yes, you're right. Easter has been one of those times where you're kind of making the Easter products. And I know, like with you, your stuff is quite themed, and you really kind of, you enjoy creating the themed stuff, right? Because you have the 4th of July bits and bobs that you've mentioned. You've got Christmas stuff. And I know that the buying occasions for you, especially with what you do, family around the dinner table, you definitely want to take that on. So I guess if I was going to ask you, what was Easter last year like versus Easter this year? Or were you making Easter products last year?
Last year was my first year. There were no, other than bunnies and baskets, there were no other Easter products, and they did not sell great last year.
Okay. So it could be then that your target audience don't do the whole family around the table. It could be that they are more sort of into Christmas, Thanksgiving, 4th of July. I certainly feel like over here, it is very much Easter now. You get the occasional person that goes and sees their family, but it's not really like a family occasion anymore. It seems to be like you drop a couple of Easter eggs off to the kids and then you're done. That's it.
It's big over here. And people that have found me and like it, they go all in. But I think people are pulling back on spending this year. So I think that hurt.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So in terms of the pulling back on the spending then, I would probably say Easter for me, if I was in your shoes, I would probably say next year I would promote the same Easter products as what you've got now, but I wouldn't kind of bank on it, if that makes sense.
Right,
but
right.
What I would be looking at instead is things like Mother's Day, things like Valentine's Day, things where, because a lot of your stuff and a lot of things that people love is tableware. So when you are hitting on those occasions, you've got to be thinking about, okay, when are people actually going to be using them? And I'm feeling like Valentine's Day, I'm feeling like Mother's Day. I know Christmas for you is a big one. And I'm just wondering if maybe Easter for you is just not where your target audience sees the placeholder, like sitting down, having a meal. And maybe instead it's more of like, I don't know, they're doing other things, Easter egg hunts, whatever. So for you, I would say Mother's Day, because I do know a lot of people that do have, like, especially if you've got a couple where you've got both of the mothers coming over, sitting down at the table. So I think that would be another great one. I think mainly for you, what I'm seeing here is that I think it would be a good idea to hone in on maybe 4 to 5 occasions. Again, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, whatever that is for you. Easter might not be it. And you might not quite know why yet. You might be sat there thinking, that's bizarre. I would have thought Easter would have been the thing. But as time goes on, you'll start to kind of recognize, okay, maybe this is why Easter was not the thing for me. I think as well, you're saying about people cutting down on the spending. Now, I know that your stuff is the 2-in-1 side of it, right? Where you get 2 designs in one. And I'm actually wondering if for socials, can we really hone in on that, especially at this time? Can we really just say okay, why are you storing a gazillion placemats, a gazillion, I don't know, cushion covers, a gazillion whatever, when you could just have what I have? Not only is it unique, not only is it handmade, not only is it a limited run, because that's another huge thing, but also it's saving money, because you could have this design on one side, this design on another. If you've got 2 different meals over Mother's Day weekend, which I know for you guys is in May, right? Yeah. So if you're having 2 different, let's say maybe you're having both mums over, but you're having them over separately, maybe we could do a different design each time. And I wondered also if it's possible maybe to have one where you've got 2 holidays that are quite close to each other in one placemat. So let's say what occasions have you guys got?
I do Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
So I did one for St. Patrick's Day and Easter, because some people don't celebrate Valentine's Day, but that one didn't take. Well,
okay.
So So you try. It's like, okay, what can I do? And then a lot of my placemats, it'll have as you can see, the fruit there. It has the fruit on one side, then it has yellow and white dots on the other side, so you can use it for every day. It's not as bright and hangy,
Yeah, I think these, for me, just as a side note, they're screaming summer, the height of summer, sort of July, August time. And I really like the idea where maybe it's not that people want 2 holidays in one in that case. Maybe it's the case of maybe they want Valentine's Day on one side, but they want kind of a more neutral one on the other side, so they can change it over in a jiffy. I can really see that working if you've got your best friend coming around for dinner, and then suddenly she breaks up with her other half, and it's oh god, we've got to quickly move it over, abort. And it's having to change it. So I think for you, I'm just going to go back onto your thing. I think for you, maybe Easter is just not it. Maybe it's a case of digging into, what are people actually doing around Easter? What are they actually doing? Are they sat at the table? Because that's the occasions that you really want to hit. So I think that's one side of it, is really, really digging into what are my target audience doing when they will need the product that I have. yes, there are lots of different holidays. There's like Earth Day, there's International Women's Day, there's lots of different things, but are they actually celebrating it in a way where they're going to be using your product? Because otherwise there's not a lot of point making it, right? I think that for me would be the first thing. Now, the second thing is your social media. I love the fact that you're being consistent and you're posting 3 times a week, and I think that's grand. I think at these times when things are a little bit slower, when people are starting to sit back and almost question, do I really need to spend that? Do I really need this? Do I really need that? I think that is where actually really hitting home with, you know what, this is a feature, this is a benefit, this is really kind of not pushing people, because we don't want to, when we're trying to market, we don't want to push people because that's really aggressive, but you want to rather like attract people. And like I said, I really like the fact that you are using your brand colors here. I think that's fab. But I'm seeing a lot of like stock imagery, whereas actually I think having more you in there, more behind the scenes, you sewing things. I mean, I could literally give you like a gazillion ideas, but it's just, I think having more of you in there, because that's where you gain that trust. And I think especially at this time, you really do want that trust. You really do want people to go, that's Karen, she's awesome, she does these things, and you can turn them over and it's like a whole different thing. So personally, that's what I would do. I like this is grand, but I'm almost thinking, you know what, could we maybe have like you talking about it? Maybe you kind of like saying, this is how I discovered that I could do this thing and people like them, and you know, all that kind of stuff, right? So I think less of the stock imagery, more of you, more of your behind the scenes, you know, even just like showing your workspace, showing, you know, just
that's coming up. They're loaded for May and April and May. I've got some of that coming up, you know, like behind the scenes of, you know, and I did a post yesterday of, here's the dining room table set for, you know, here's Easter decoration, then whoop, back to work.
That's great.
Got
that's
fabric
great.
all over it. So I'm starting to try to put more of that in there.
Yeah. And I think for me, I would be looking at more of you building that trust. And I think the other side of the coin is more of the product being used, because I'm kind of doing 1, 2, 3, 4 scrolls until I'm seeing actually what your product is. And as we know, with social media, the attention span is like zip. It's like nada. It does not exist. So even like maybe in your head thinking, okay, like maybe every 1 in every 3 posts, I'm going to actually show my product. I'm going to show it in different ways, either being used or me making it, or me thinking about designs or what have you. And I think that would be great too, because then when people land on your social media profile, it's instantly, is this for me or not? So yeah, I think for me, my overall thing is maybe I would reconsider what holidays and buying occasions your target audience are really sitting down and are likely to use your product. Because I think with your product as well, when they're shopping, it really takes some kind of oomph to really say to people in their heads, oh, I can just imagine like my friends, my family, my loved ones sat around the table. I want to actively go out and I want to look for tableware, and I want to actually, like, you know, not a lot of people do that unless they have that image in their head of what they want that occasion to look like. So I think as much as you can mirror that, especially on your social media, like actually having, it doesn't even matter if it's stock imagery, but actually having that image of the family time, the friends time. And I think especially for your target audience, I know when we went through the brandathon, I really think that it's that emotion that you want to get. And as we know, people don't buy on facts, they base their buying decisions on emotions, right? So I really would like to see more of that in when you market.
Okay. Yeah. My products are in there. You're just seeing the very first one on some of those, but my products are in a lot of those.
Yeah. I think Yeah,
I
mean,
just don't start
there.
with, I don't start with my picture the first off.
Yeah, I mean, it's there, but if someone's landing on your profile
Yeah.
just having a quick
Yeah.
rolly around just to kind of see if it's their vibe or not, I think that would be the case where I would kind of maybe even change the cover, even like, you
Okay.
know, and just change the covers on these just so it's like, this is what I do, this is what I sell, this is me.
Okay.
And I wonder as well whether we could have more pictures of your stuff in kind of action, in terms of
Okay.
being laid out on a table.
Yeah, they're there. They're just
There.
behind there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think actually this could be quite a big deal, actually changing it so the people actually see that when they land on it. And I think really I would suggest, because I can see, are you doing just reels?
I do posts, or not posts, but I do stories.
Okay.
I have stories. I have stories going on as well.
Okay, because what we're finding now is that reels and carousels, which are the posts that you can scroll through,
Yeah.
it used to be reels were like up here for reach, and it was like reels. Now actually carousel posts are actually beginning to like come up equal footing with it, really.
Oh,
So
okay.
I would suggest, because that would be really good for the products that you have, and actually enabling people to scroll through and actually see it rather than having to watch a reel. I know they're kind of one and the same, but you would not believe the amount of times people click off of a reel because I can't be bothered to sit there and watch it through.
Yeah.
Whereas with a carousel, like, they're in control, they're swiping
Yeah.
it. So I'm wondering if maybe you could do a reel carousel, do that, try that for like a month or so and see what happens with your traffic. Let me have a look at your keywords real quick. So I would hashtags are kind of a bit like, you don't need to use them, but they're okay, just kind of there. That's funny. I think it's more the keywords now. So I'm wondering if carry on doing what you're doing, but I would suggest maybe putting some keywords in there, a bit like what you do for like your Etsy descriptions, and just try that side of things. Yeah.
Okay.
And just see how you get on with that. I'd love to be able to like support you more in Rise and stuff like that, and being able to kind of see each week like the changes and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think from just what I can see and the like limited time that I've got, I would say those would be the tweaks that I would change. And like I say, it might just be like Easter's not your thing. It might be like the 4th of July might be your thing, and it's like, oh my God, like this is where it's at. This is what I need.
People are already, believe it or not, people
they
are
are
already searching for 4th of July stuff. That's
They
why
are.
I have them up in my shop, because they are already searching for it.
Yeah. And I think the 4th of July, Thanksgiving, like as soon as you hear that, you're like, oh, everyone around the table. Yes. Whereas I'm wondering if maybe the other ones have that same emotion.
Yeah, and we're going to the beach in May, so
awesome.
Some of my products are coming with me to take pictures.
Oh, well, brilliant. Yeah, wherever you can get all the feels within your pictures, big thumbs up from me.
Yep. Like, okay, barbecuing out, being on the beach, having your can coolers there, all that good stuff.
Love it. Awesome. So if you do have, I mean, it's not just the call this week, guys, as well. Don't be like, oh, I didn't get to, you have the space all week. So don't be afraid to put any questions or anything about what we've talked about in here. It is being recorded as well. So if you want to watch the recording of it and watch your little bit again, you can do that for sure.
Yeah. Thanks.
All righty, Ruth. Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you. Yep. Righty Roo. So I think it's Jamie up next, right? Where are you? Hey, you are. How are you, my love? Are you okay?
Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm waking up.
You're like, come on now.
I know, wake up.
So Jamie is currently in Rise. You've been in Rise since we opened it up for the first time in November, right? It is really I just wanted you to talk about your experience, just because I think everyone here is a bit like, I kind of understand the premise of Rise, but I'm kind of not knowing what I'm actually gonna get. Right. So I would love, I've got some questions here, but if you want to just, yap like we do, go for it.
Right. So I think the biggest thing that I've taken from Rise is that I actually changed my entire business idea from the beginning to now.
Yeah.
Um, and it was so helpful to have kind of that guidance as I was like, so I started with crochet dolls,
Yeah.
and now I'm working my way towards toddler t-shirts and creating digital art.
Yeah.
So a very, very different, very different ideas, but it's been so helpful as I've kind of been working my way through it.
Yeah. Brilliant. So, I mean, it is different, but I think like what we talked about in our last call, it's kind of not, is it? It's sort of
Yeah,
one of them where you think it's two completely different things, then you actually sit down and you're like, oh, maybe this is just my style, this is just my vibe, this is
yes.
just, yeah. So that is really, really cool. How are you doing with that?
Great, great. I've actually been planning social media because I'm working on having to relaunch.
Hmm?
So same business name, same target audience, but just new products.
Yeah.
And so
Brilliant.
I've been working on what will my social media look like for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I remember with your dolls, we talked a lot about like the feeling and like,
Yes,
it's kind of you're aiming it towards the kids, but you're also aiming it towards the parents as well. And I really love that, like you can almost transition all of that across. And I think that's really, really cool. Awesome.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
ChatGPT has been my best friend.
You're like, I can like really, really dig in with this.
Yes, yes.
So I mean, it's really hard to answer this question. Where were you in your business like before you joined Rise versus now?
Yes. So the main reason that I joined Rise is because I had so many ideas in my head, but I didn't know how to take them from like up here and then like actually use them.
Mm.
And so what's been so helpful is having a group to take my ideas and say, "Hey, this is what I'm thinking," and having, "Hey, try this," or "Have you thought this?"
Mm.
And it's allowed me to come so much further.
Yeah.
I definitely feel I have confidence now,
Yeah. I see that.
and that from going, "I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do," to feeling like, "Okay, all right, I have a game plan."
Brilliant.
So that's been awesome.
Yeah. 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 And I know that probably a lot of people here, give me like a little wave if this is you, but I feel like a lot of people here are like, it's hard going it alone. Like,
Yeah.
you've got all these ideas and all these things. I see a lot of waves
Yes,
in the little squares down the right hand side. I've got a little woohoo.
yeah,
I've got a little emoji that's come up. Oh, that's really cool. I think probably like what you said about having a lot of ideas and a lot of things, there's a lot of branches that you can go off, especially with what you were doing and what you are doing now. I think there's a lot of, things and shinies and lots of things that you could do. You're like, I know the shinies.
and I think that the best part has been able to work a schedule because I am working full-time still.
Mm.
I work full-time as a high school teacher, and so being able to then create a schedule that allows me, like, knowing, okay, from the hours of 7 to 3, I'm working, but what can I do outside those hours to grow my business? And, um, it doesn't have to be a lot. Like,
Yeah.
it can be a little bit every day working towards that goal. So that's one thing I've had to tell myself is slow down. It doesn't have to be this big move at once. It can be little by little. And
Yeah.
every time you're doing something, it's moving you towards your goal.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I remember we talked about, I can't remember when it was, but we talked about the whole like 1% each day. Because I think
Yes,
when you first joined, you were like, I need. Um,
yes,
and it's almost like, yeah, like what you said, slowing down and actually going, I've still got a lot on my plate. And I remember there was a call where you were like, I'm out. I can't, like, I'm just doing so much. And it was really good to like dig into the schedule and break it down and actually have more of a, because it's more important for you to pinpoint and laser focus the time that you do have, especially when you're working still, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So in terms of like, what part of Rise has been the most helpful or valuable to you?
That's really hard because I want to say all of it. There's that accountability piece that I know that, okay, so if we have the calls, what do I really want to discuss? And so we have our calls usually on Tuesdays. And so over the weekend, I'm thinking, okay, so like this weekend, I was like, okay, I'm going to work on my social media posts so I can get feedback on it.
Yeah.
Or even during the day, I'm like, oh, I have this idea. Just being able to go into the community and ask it and get feedback same day has been so helpful. It's that idea of I'm never alone.
Yeah.
I have this idea. Let me just type it in. Or, okay, also it's that accountability. All right, I know we have this call coming up. What do I want to bring to the table so I can get feedback on?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not just me and Jane, right? Which Jane is here, by the way. She's just like she's she's here.
Haircut.
It looks great.
I know, I'm still getting used to it.
It looks so
I like it.
Thank you.
It does look really good. So yeah, it's not just like me and Jane who are like yapping and barking at you, but I love like Jane and Sue. Like we all come on and we're all like, have you thought about doing this? Or you said this. What do you mean by that? It's like, yeah, it's really good.
And even if it's not directly me getting the advice, I've grown to love following the other Rise members and their businesses too. And so being able to see their transformation also helps me. Yeah, sorry, there's my alarm to make sure I was up. Just being able to see what the other members are doing too, because the advice and some of the things they go through, I may not realize that, oh, I need to hear this too, or this is a good plan for me. Or, oh, I like the way they did that branding board. I want to use that. It's become very supportive that way too.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And I guess I'm trying to like combine a couple of questions together, but I would say a question that I've got for you is was there anything that you were unsure or nervous about before you joined, and what would you say to someone who's feeling that same way?
It is an initial investment, and I was like, for me, I was like, will I be able to do the work for that investment? And looking back, the 100,000% yes. The work that I've done, but the help that I've gotten, kind of the community we've built, has made everything so worth it. And there was the self-doubt too. All right, I'm investing in myself. I have to make sure that I show up as well.
Yeah.
And so the calls in the community, if you're having a down week and you didn't hit your goals, it's like, okay, what do you need from us? And so it's so relaxed in that way that it's really actually helped me flourish, because I know, like, I can be honest. There was a post a couple months ago that I wrote where I'm just like, I'm burnt out. I'm struggling. I need a break. I need all of these things. And it was so helpful to have the community say, okay, take a break. That's fine. These are the other things we can do for you. And it was just having the group to kind of process things. And so, yeah, my initial concerns were me and will I rise to the occasion, and the way that Rise is set up. Yes, I definitely have. I tell my dad all the time, oh, this is so good.
Oh, I love that.
So because he's like a big like cheers me on. We do the craft shows together.
Oh,
So
I love that. That's really sweet. Yeah, I think that's really, really awesome. And I think we've really enjoyed. I mean, if Jane wants to kind of like hop on and kind of speak.
You know what, the biggest like transformation that I've seen in you is your confidence and your mindset. You came on, and I know you touched on this before, you came on thinking, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. And your mountain was so high. But I think you've actually realized that, you know what it is? If I do less, I get more from it.
yes.
You know, you make more progress. And I think you feel that more, which in turn helped your confidence grow as well. And previously you were coming to us for the ideas, which is totally fine. That's what we're here for as well. But now you're coming to us with your ideas and with your next steps. And it's almost like you just want some guidance and to fine tune them. So it's been really, really good to watch. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys. I definitely came not having a plan, and now even today, like when I get to work, I'll be like, okay, so here's my plan for social media. Here's a couple posts. Am I on the right track? And so again, being able to do that kind of keeps me moving along too.
No, it's great. You've done so well. And I think even just because I know that you were a bit hesitant when you were saying about changing your business and changing the products, and not that you've changed it because you're still doing the dolls, but just like adding this other and I know that we were kind of like, okay, that sounds fab, let's like think about XYZ. And I know that you're a bit like, should I like talk about it, like is this a thing?
Yes, because I was like, oh my gosh, we have spent months on this, and now I'm like, hey, let's start brand new with this. But I'm so glad I did, because it's been so helpful. I've got all these ideas now, and I feel that I'm like, okay, I have this, and for example, we were talking about making social media have value.
Yeah.
And me and ChatGPT came up with all these value ideas that I could use. So I'm like, okay, I could do a bedtime night checklist that people can comment, and I can send it to them to get that value added. I mean, I was like, ooh, I have ideas now.
You're like, ooh, so many things. But the right thing,
Yes.
I think, is that,
Yes.
yeah, I think that's fab. That's awesome. And just
Social media has always been like the area that I was like,
yeah. I remember like when you're doing social media like way back in like November, and you were like, I just can't, I'm just not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and your website as well. I found that on my tabs actually the other day. I was like, oh my god, look at this! I remember this.
Yes, we've come so far.
Come so far. But I just want to like obviously thank you for being, you know, in like the first round of Rise that we had, and it's been amazing. And I know that you're in until November, so we cannot wait to see what you're gonna do. And like with this new thing as well, it's like every week is genuinely exciting for me and Jane, because we get to see the progress that you've made and like what you've done, and then like you come into the call, it's like a new set of things to work on, a new set. Yeah, it's stunning. It's the word that I want to use. Stunning, darling.
And I can speak because I am in the States, and I do have a full-time job. I can't make like the full video calls, and so if that's a concern for you, for like that timing piece, it's so flexible. All the calls are recorded. You can go back and watch. Usually I pop in and I'm like, hey, I'm at work, here's my little piece, and then receive super amounts of help and I have all these ideas. I'm like, okay, I gotta go teach these students now. So if that's something that's like maybe a concern, that time piece, it's so flexible. So don't let that be a barrier.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. And we'll always like move around, you know, like we've always kind of said, okay, Jamie goes first because like she's, you know, got her. I remember on one call, it was like, the kids are coming in, they're coming in. And it was like, we gotta go. It made us chuckle. We were like, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Luckily we were all good by then. But yeah, that did that does stick out in my head of me like having a real like belly laugh moment. Oh dear.
and I'm sure the high schoolers would have been like, oh, what you doing?
Yeah.
Who you talking to? They would have been all up in my business because they are every day.
It's like, who's the British chick with the funny teeth? What's this about, huh?
Like, that's an act. We don't hear that accent. I'm like, no, I know.
Yeah. Oh, that's
I'm like, sorry, I only have my Wisconsin accent. I don't have cool UK accents, guys.
Your accent's great. I love it. Yeah, it's great. Well, thank you so much for like hopping on and just like letting us know your progress and what you're thinking and feeling. And obviously we have the other call on Thursday.
Yes.
So and
I have all my social media ready.
Oh, good. Let's dig into that. Yes. So yeah, I cannot wait to have a little look through and make sure all the visuals are all done, and we'll dig in and we'll have a little look.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Jamie. Thank you. Right. So Jane, would you like to go through some stuff with Esther? Because Esther's next. Because I need to pee, so I'm going to go real quick, lightning speed. But it's there. It's like knocking on the door. So I'll be back.
Hi, Esther. How are you?
Hi, Jay. I'm good, thank you. Good.
Thank you so much for joining with today.
No, thank you for inviting me. So yeah,
you're more than welcome. Are you able to give her a little bit of a run through of what your business is and what stage you're at now?
So I think this is the problem that I have is that I retired. I worked in law for a long time, and then I retired in 2022. So I've kind of like done nothing, not done anything on socials, just really enjoyed living my life basically. So this really came out of the reason why I want to, or I'm at the early stages of setting up this business, is through something that happened to us as a family, and it's I'm not sure whether it's more of a social enterprise or whether I do another group for mental health, which is just a social an art group for people with mental health problems, where they can come and have a coffee or they can come and do a bit of art. It's not always drawing art or anything like that, but my business is making baby products, and this came out, as I said, out of my story, and that's where I'm struggling, because I've done quite a few things. I tried to set up my own website, and I said I'm not very IT savvy, so I gave up on that and then sent that out to somebody else, and they're waiting for me to go back to them with that. So I'm on the HBSA, and I've just at the end of phase 1, so I'm just doing the research. I actually know who my main competitor is. I've been really sort of homing in on her and following her and how many followers she has and all of this. And I've got 14 because I've never had an Instagram account. I'm not on TikTok. I don't really do Facebook. So I've sort of had to start all this from scratch. But I'm sort of going through phase 1 and working all those things out. Put a time limit of the 1st of July to start the business, because My son is getting married as well, and my daughter is pregnant and has not been too well.
I'm sorry to hear that.
This is why it's just me, because I think I said in my stories that it's actually a generation. It's a 3-generation business. You know, I learnt to sew from my mum.
I think that's what you're
Yeah.
Is your daughter called Gracie?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
My daughter's Gracie. Yes. So
Yeah.
I learnt to sew from my mum, and then when I was working in law, I actually did a proper college course on pattern cutting and fashion, because I've always loved it, and I wanted to know more about. I have a very short body, and every time I went to buy clothes, I could never find anything to fit my body part here. So everything was like 3 inches too long on the body. And so I thought, you know, I'm going to have to start making my own. And that's really where my love of sewing came in. And then, as I said, so it's a 3-generation business, but I also want it to be a community business as well, because I live in Derbyshire, and obviously we have lots of sheep, we have lots of wool, we have lots of organic stuff, and I suppose I'm also trying to. I know who my target audience is, and it's probably more of the high end. And I'd say that probably as somebody like I used to be when I worked, because there's a business called Hope and Macaulay, and they're an Irish business, and they started out with a young girl just doing finger knitting, and then she started to make cardigans, and then she brought in the community and her pet and her mum and everybody else. And then these cardigans made their way into Liberty. Now I loved that story, and this is where I love Stephanie talking about, you buy from passion and things, because I bought one of these cardigans for £500. This is how much these cardigans are. And I bought one because I liked them, but I loved the story as well. I loved the whole feel of it, helping the community, being business, and all of those sorts of things. And that, I suppose, is what I'm wanting to build. But I'm wanting to build it in a different way, because my daughter went through domestic violence very seriously, and is now coming out the other end. So this is why I want to involve women that have been involved in domestic violence, so that they can learn. So it would also be a learning project for them. And they would hopefully get paid, and then everything that is made is sold. And they can then go off, hopefully. I suppose the thing is, if I go back to my daughter, she's not very good at speaking. She has a lot of, obviously, anxiety. She's not very good at speaking in general to just anybody. She has no friends. She really struggles with any of that. And I thought, well, I started actually at my law career in family domestic violence, and I thought, well, maybe other people are like that. And so I thought, well, if I set up an experience for them, and they sit around a table, we have like coffee sessions, so it's not like they're really coming to work, and they're learning. Maybe they might just start talking. They don't have to, but they might want to, because they've all been through the same thing, and it'll help my daughter too. So I'm a bit like the lady that was on before. I have all these ideas in my head, and I've done quite a lot of research. Like, the fabric I use is Liberty. So I went to Liberty because I went on Etsy, and I think there's quite a lot of infringement sometimes on there. So I went to Liberty and said, look, hey, this is what I want to do. I just want to make sure what I'm doing is okay with you. And the woman that I spoke to was absolutely lovely, and she gave me lots of advice about what I can and cannot do with Liberty fabric when I'm actually putting it up on Etsy or wherever I'm putting it up for sale. I said it won't be I won't be changing anything. I won't be making. They don't make children's clothes really anyway. I said, but it will be done in this certain way. Is that okay? And she said, yes, so long as it's done in this way, we have no issue with that. That's not a problem. And so I did Liberty, yes.
Yeah,
so
right.
I'm a huge Liberty fan. So all of the fabrics that I will be using are mainly Liberties and laces and things like that. And again, I suppose the reason I went through that is that when my daughter had her first child, I thought she'd just want her things from Next or just normal baby clothes and things. Not the sort of clothes that I would have put my son and Gracie into when they was younger. But actually, they want little romper suits. They want little collars on their clothes now. They want all these little cutie things that, you don't really get. They're coming out a little bit more now, but you don't really get that. And I want to use organic natural fibers, so wools, cashmere's and different. So it probably is more for the upscale market of people that are going to be buying it. If you're going to be buying a Liberty bib, for example, that's probably going to be about £25 when you think about the cost of the actual fabric. And again, like the lady before, it will be double-sided. And I'm looking at waterproof membranes to go in the middle so that, you can do that. You want to make sure that you're getting really good value for money. And I know that there's going to be a market that I'm probably going to be taking out of it because of the cost. But I'm hoping that if I tell my story, and that's, say, where I go back to every single time and where I'm struggling, if I can get my story right and say, look, also, when you buy something, you are going to be giving some of that money to a good cause, because as I don't know if I've said this, but a percentage of the money that we actually make will go back into women's aid. So anybody that buys something, a percentage of that money, gross profit as well, I'm not talking about net profits, I'm talking about gross profits, will go back into the cause, because we have our own issues over here in England, and charities are not making money like they used to. And then I also want to bring the community together. So I was in the local hospital the other day having some blood tests done, and I came across Friends United, who make loads of little cardigans and things for hospitals. And I went to see them, and they said, we would love to do some cardigans for you. And I said, well, if I come up with the designs and I finished them off, would you just knit them? If I gave you the fabric, the walls and everything else, would you knit them for a fee? I'll pay you. So it's not like you're doing it for charity at the moment. I'll pay you. And they said, yeah, of course. Just tell us what you want and we'll do it. So I'm trying to build a charity, trying to build a community. I'm trying to help these people these ladies or men. I lost my brother to domestic violence, actually, as a man. So he sadly passed away many years ago now, but that was due to domestic violence. So I'm trying to bring these people together. I want everything to be made in Britain, because I think, I really want to keep that source as well. I also thought if people bought from me, I could say, well, if you bought from me and you want to then have something made, like an example, I bought my daughter, my grandson Leo, some beautiful pajamas for they were gorgeous. And my daughter said, can you make them into a memory bear? And I said, so I thought, well, if somebody buys something from me, they can send the dress back or whatever it is that they've had from me, and I'll make it into something for a less of a cost, and then they can have it back. So it's not about the money. I'm not saying that I'm worth a lot of money, and I put a lot of money already into this. So my husband is like, hey, we're not a charity ourselves. But there's all these things that I want to do, but I don't know how to get my story over. And
Can
that's
I
the thing, because I don't know if it's too long. I don't know if as you say, people, you know, go through the stories and they sort of think, oh, that's boring. And I think, you
so
know,
for me, your story isn't too long. It really is. You've
isn't
got me
it?
like almost like it's really resonated with me, and like I feel like I'm gonna cry because of it. Like, I think what you're doing is like I'm getting goosebumps about it because I think it's absolutely phenomenal. I think it's something that you and your family should be really, really proud of. My partner, he was a victim of domestic violence, so it's surprising how many men
Yeah.
and then like myself, I wasn't a victim of domestic violence, but I was a victim of domestic abuse. And the help and the community aspect and the whole ethos around your business is just it's awe-inspiring. So like thank you so much, because it'll mean so much to the people who have been impacted, but the people like on the outskirts as well, who are often forgotten about in the family. So for me personally, although I'm not your target market because I'm not having any children, your story's not too long. Your story's very passionate. It's very authentic. And I think you're potentially overthinking and over worrying about it.
Right.
That people are not going to resonate with it, or people are going to be switched off and turned off from it, because it's, for me, it's been the complete opposite. So yeah, I think you're doing absolutely fantastic. And I know one thing that you had touched upon in your summary on the job in the community was about funding and things like that. I'll be honest, I personally don't know anything about that. However, I'm sure if you contact people like the local council, and I know that's helpful, they might be able to help you with things like that.
Yes, I've been in touch with a part of the enterprise scheme for the local council, and they love the story, but of course they've got no money, like many councils have at the moment. I've also rang a couple of funding companies and sort of just pitched my idea to friends as well. And the other day, because I used to teach law. When I left my practice, I went into teaching, and actually standing in front of lawyers. And, you know, lawyers are very vain. I'll be honest with you, some of them are anyway, and they like to catch you out. So you always have to be on guard. Speaking in front of them, I never had a problem with, because probably I think when people meet me, they've got a different perception of me. But actually, when I speak on camera, I thought, oh, I don't know if I will come across very well or very authentic or those sorts of things. And so over the weekend, I made a video of just doing a bread and butter pudding, and I put it on Facebook to my friends and said, this is my first time on video. Can you let me know what you think of me? Do I sound all right? And so just to try and get some experience of speaking in front of, doing this.
Really good. That's really good.
The rest of it, so I'm speaking to Women's Aid, their fundraiser, because I want people to know for sure that money is genuine. As you say, I want people to know that I'm authentic, and so I want Women's Aid to come up with something to show that money is definitely there as put aside for that, no matter what.
I'm sure that's something that can be resolved. I'm sure that's something that, to be honest, is probably like, and I'm going back to bread and butter, but probably bread and butter for them. So in terms of things like that, that's where you can really utilize things like your social media to really, really get that message out. And you do come across as really authentic. So I don't think it's going to be a case of people second doubting you or anything like that. But I know that like registered charities and things like that, they have ways, and you'll know yourself, that you can double check and you'll be able to portray that message to the people who buy from you and your followers and things like that. But in terms of your business, we can definitely help lead you every step of the way.
Yeah,
definitely. Where to start?
Yeah, I agree.
I printed off. Sorry to keep interrupting. I have so much to say. You see, this is the problem. I don't know where to start. It's just all. I printed off so many things just from the HBSA to make a start on, and I'm like, well, which one do I do first? Because I've got to do the branding, and then if you look at my social media that's set up on Instagram, there's only a few posts on there because I hadn't got the branding sorted. So I thought, well, I better stop doing things until I've got done the branding. And then I thought, but then I've got to do the designs to be able to put into the social media. So, and then I've got to tell my story. But then, you know, like when we first did it, first put a post up, the first question one person asked was, well, what do you do? You know, and we'd not even thought about that, you know, saying, well, this is what we're doing.
Although our businesses are quite different, so I've got a totally different business to what you're selling. It sounds like we were, when we joined the HBSA, at a very, very similar stage. And I was like you, I had ideas all over the place. Like I was jumping from one thing to the next, flitting and think, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this. And then I was getting myself totally overwhelmed. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know where to turn. So I looked in, and it's something really, really simple. You know, the 30 minutes a day growth schedule.
I started that. Then I got to a point where I thought, I can't do that because I need to do something else first.
Stick to that order, because that's done in the most logical and natural way to set your business up and to start from scratch. And you don't have to stick to the 30 minutes a day. Like, I'm not going to lie, those times when I did nothing for a couple of days because life got in the way, or I'm a mom, so, you know, I was looking after my daughter and what have you. But then there's some days when I'm like, I'm cracking on, I'm at this for hours. But every day I stuck to the order, because that made sure that the certain things, like within the modules, that you need to do before you move on to the next one.
And I think just going off of what Jane has said, I think you've covered a lot today, because I think you've got it off your chest, and I think you've kind of like gotten there. And I know that our time is kind of like rounding up, but what I just wanted to say is that you've just got to begin somewhere. They're laid out like the HBSA. I don't know what was in that tea, but it's like sent my brain scrambling. I'm just like, but what I would suggest is just start doing the things that are in the linear order, and just start looking at that. And like we said to Jamie, like even if it's 1% a day better, by the end of a week, that's 7% better. By the end of a month, that's 31.25% better, if my math serves me. But I think you've just got to make a start, because you've got so much built up. And I think it would be really good for us to see how you get on. And I think just being able to work through it in that linear fashion, just taking a breath and just going, right, I'm just going to start. Because when I start, it's going to develop in the way that it should. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Sometimes the thinking about doing it is worth starting it. Like I make a mountain out of a molehill, and like I was like this when I was at school quite a while ago. But like, you know, before starting my homework, I was like, oh, this is going to be horrific. This is going to take us so long. But once you actually start breaking it down and getting into it, it's really actually quite exciting. And I think like I think you've got such a brilliant business model that I think probably needs some fine tuning, which we can help with that. Your core reason for doing it is really going to help you stand out from the rest. And the fact that you know who your target market is, it's really, really good. Really good.
Yeah, thank you.
Brilliant. And I think you're going to be really, really good. I think maybe it might just help just to go through it in like a very linear fashion.
Yes.
However much time you can put to it. But also what I think would be really good is just writing these ideas down, because if you do want to join Rise, and like everyone here, there's no pressure to at all. This is a taste a week, just designed to give you a little taste of what it's going to be like. But I think writing those things down, just writing any ideas down that you have, just so it's not gone forever into the ether. If you think in 2 months' time, what was that word that I used to describe that thing? So I think I think there's a few things here that we can help with for sure. But I think starting off, let's just focus on getting some small progress through the HBSA steps.
So my problem is, where would to just go back to the 30 minutes a day, not worry about putting my story on social media, leave that.
Yeah, I would do it in order if I were you. Yeah, for sure, because it's already laid out in a very particular order. So if you're struggling with where do I start, I would just do it in that order and have that in your head as, right, that is the order that I'm going to go through it. And if I have any more ideas of any sections that later on down the line, I'm going to write it down. I'm going to park it for a little while, then come back to it. All right.
Okay. Lovely. Thank
Brilliant.
you.
Lovely to chat to you.
Yeah, and you. Thank you.
See you. Right. Okay. We have Jane. Where art thou, Jane?
I'm here.
Oh, you're there. Sorry, my love. I was like, where are you? Where have you gone?
Another Geordie accent to join.
Yeah, I was like, follow the accent. Where has she gone?
Even though I'm from down south, but I'm still a Geordie.
Yeah, there you go. Technically, you were here.
Yes, I was. Yes, Portsmouth. I was born. Yeah.
So, Jane is a current member of Rise. Again, you've been in here since November. So I just would like you to talk a little bit more about, again, like, I guess kind of on the same lines as what Jamie spoke about, but just kind of your experience with it, how you're feeling about things. The floor's yours.
Right. Well, just after the last one as well, I think that is a main reason why I joined Rise. I'm a perfectionist. I'm a procrastinator. I felt overwhelmed. I didn't know where to start. Also, with the HBSA, I'm not a reader. I'm somebody that needs to be told to do something or shown how to do something, which has made a massive, massive difference to me. I started out, as you know, I do dog products, and I make out of paracord, and I had a few items that were being sold by local dog trainers, which I kind of got brainwashed a little bit into doing it how they wanted it to be done rather than how I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So it's taken a little while and a good, you know what I mean, few kicks to say, come on, Jane, do it because you love it, not because it's what somebody else wants it to be. I don't think I would have got to the stage that I am now just with the HBSA alone, because that's not how I learn.
Yeah.
And then really, weirdly enough, as you're going through it, you're actually doing the steps without realizing it. So you're actually creating your branding, you're doing all the bits and bobs. I'm still a social media freak. I'm not that good with that still yet, but I'm working on it. But it's lovely it's like a family really now, because we know each other really well. It's fantastic to listen to what other people are doing, because it resonates with me thinking, oh, I should do that as well. Do you know what I mean? And I'm going to say, do you know what I mean, quite a lot, because that's what I do. It's just been amazing. Started out, again, didn't know anything about Etsy whatsoever. I'd done markets and things like that, which hadn't really worked out for me, because again, my products are higher end rather than the person on the stall that's selling them for next to nothing. I pay for loads of local markets, and I went there every Tuesday or something like that, and they said, you just got to be seen, you've got to be there. But because there was other people around me just literally doing it for pennies, it didn't really work out. And there wasn't my target market wasn't there, even though I thought they were, because they could bring dogs there and things like that. So it's moved on massively in 4 months compared to, I would still be back there procrastinating now, to be honest, and still struggling with perfectionism and overthinking everything. Confidence levels, as you know, I wasn't very confident. A rise in week by week. It's amazing to be able to come on and speak to people and see their faces and get to know Jane and Steph really well, and Suzanne and Jamie. It's just like we all kind of like knock off each other, and that's probably not the right word, but
No, I get what you mean.
we all help each other, and we all sort of like say, oh, that's a good idea, or that's not a good idea, and it's like a little family.
Oh, I like that comparison. That's really nice.
Because I feel comfortable with everybody. It started out where I thought, oh, gotta wear makeup, and oh god, I don't want to be on the camera, and all that kind of stuff was horrible. Now it's the case of I haven't got a bra on today, I've got no makeup on. It's just like so relaxed. It's lovely, and you just feel comfortable.
I remember the last call. I was like, right, I've not got a stitch of makeup on. I've got no bra on, and then every single one of you was like, me too. And it was like, oh,
I'm still wearing pajama bottoms, but it doesn't matter. And then the dogs bark, and oh yeah, I've got 2 Rottweilers, and they try to escape, and then one gets upstairs even though they're not supposed. It's mayhem, but it's kind of given me a strategy and looking at it a different way, and actually putting pen to paper, which I don't think I would have done. I'm a numbers person, as you say, because I work in accounts, but overcoming the perfectionism on it all has been a real struggle.
Yeah. And I think like what you said, like when you know, I guess before you were in Rise, there was a lot going on, a lot of like comments, I suppose, a lot of,
yes,
I don't know whether you can call them comments, but I suppose the people had opinions.
They definitely had opinions, and I'm a people pleaser, so I was getting completely down a tunnel looking at what they were saying, but not thinking about what I wanted to do. So I've kind of reverted back, and we did an amazing thing, because I was thinking, where do I start? And Steph said, right, well, write your products down. Like obviously your lower end items, your middle items, and your high end items. And that really worked for me, because it's kind of, I've stayed with the lower end to start off with, and it's helped me progress forward, because I'm not, everybody does, they go through the pricing and things like that and think, oh my God, I'm going to have to charge this or that. And it is frightening to put yourself out there, but it's worked.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. And like what you said, everyone learns a little bit differently, don't they?
Yes.
So it's all well and good sort of saying, right, you know, the HBSA, and it has got everything you need, but
yes,
sometimes what you need isn't necessarily more to-dos and more things and more, you know, what's the word, more lessons and more things to consume and take on board and think about and process, what have you. But it's actually just more of having less on your plate, of having some accountability, of having someone say to you, no, you're not going insane, like that looks fine. Put it down. Move on.
But it's clever how it's been done, because the things that I kept saying, I think, no, I've got to do this and I've got to do that, have just gradually every week I've ended up doing them without kind of really realizing it, and actually enjoyed it. Whereas before, if I would just be looking at a screen and trying to read them and watch the videos and things like that, and I need that interaction to say, no, that's not right. Yeah. Or that's really good. Do you know what I mean? When I'm thinking, oh, am I along the right lines or not? It has been amazing. And it's kind of, with it being the first one, it's kind of grown, and it's developed. Rise has developed along with it as well, because we did have Telegram calls and things like that. Found that hard again. It's the one-to-one every week, and it really is amazing.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Well, for me anyway, but everybody's, do you know what I mean, perception of how they want to do it. But that's how I learn. I can pick things up really, really quickly by somebody saying, right, I'll show you that you do it like this, and I've done it. But I can't with sitting down and reading, because I'm constantly looking for the right answer, and there isn't a right answer.
That's a really good way to put it, actually, isn't it? It's a really good way to kind of go, yes, actually, I'm searching for something that it probably doesn't exist, because I need to find it within myself.
Yes.
It's really hard to find it within yourself when you're searching for the right thing. Does that make sense? It's like a cycle.
Like, how I analyze it is, like, I work with numbers. So numbers, you always come out with the right answer at the end of it. But if you put a form in front of me and ask me to fill it out, I'm looking for perfection. I'm looking for that right answer, and it's just a case of just writing it down and going with your feelings and your gut, rather than thinking I can't do it because it's got to be right.
Yeah, Yeah. Are you one of these people that like when you go, I don't know, to like a spa or like massage or something like that, and they give you the consultation form and it's like any health problem, any of this, you're like, oh no, because you want to be like the perfect candidate.
Yes, just want to get out of the way as well, because I just don't like doing things with words so much. Do you know what I mean? But it's helped me visualize and see things that I wouldn't have done through the HBSA by itself. So that way it's really worked for me.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it, actually. And I think like for me, I think Jane will definitely agree, but I think for me, like the big turning point was like when you came on and you're like, oh, I've done these like photos, I'm not really sure, and then you like put it on screen and I was like, what? These are amazing. And we were both just like, these look professional, like this is, you know. And
but I did have a little meltdown the weekend before, and I was going to Jane, I can't do it, and they're rubbish and all this kind of stuff. And then suddenly the penny clicked. Do you know what I mean? And it was different, yeah. But I've had lots of meltdowns. I've had days where I've gone in there and thought, I don't know why I'm here, and then you get talking to Steph and Jane, and all of a sudden you're doing stuff, and they're giving you stuff. Do you know what I mean? And it lifts you out of it, and it is pretty amazing. That's again, amazing word.
I love that. I think it's I think that's just the power of being in a small group of people that over the weeks get to know you and get to know
feel comfortable with, feel
comfortable, and I think that's something that, I mean, the coaching calls on the HBSA are good, but you don't get that, like, we can screen share, we can walk you through things, we can look at, you know, whereas with that it's very like, it's great if you just need like a quick little, is it this or this or this or this, or perfect. But I think if you are someone that needs that one-on-one, someone to show you something, someone to walk you through why we're doing this, like, why are we doing the target audience stuff again, Steph? Why are we doing the branding yes again? Why is this not right? You know, why are you saying this? It just makes it easier.
I mean, my branding started out where it was like kind of, it looked like I was an artist, like I was drawing. It was completely off, and then it just changed into this vibrant, bright, colourful theme. That's what I wanted, you know, rather than what somebody else wants.
That's a really good that's a really good way to put it, actually. I think it was definitely something that it's almost like you've kind of like broken out of your cocoon. I don't know whether that's like a really like fishy way to put it, but it's kind of like, you've kind of came in like in your cocoon, and then you're just like, you put one leg out, put it back in, and another toe out, and then now you're like fully like, come on,
let's do this. And I think as well, what really has helped as well is Jane being kind of at the same kind of stages as well, and we each follow each other now, and kind of I haven't stuck to it because I don't like social media, which I'm working on, but we did have an agreement where we were going to post one reel or something, one story, and so on and so forth, but I'm still overcomplicating that a little bit at the moment, but I'm getting there.
We'll get you there for sure. I said a couple of weeks ago, didn't I? Maybe 3 weeks ago, but I can't believe it's only been 4 months.
Yeah. And God,
crazy.
What a journey, and how far have we come in those 4 months? It's unreal.
It's crazy. Like I keep thinking, it's been like 8-9 months. It's like, no, all this has happened in 4 months.
And it's the accountability, and it's not being afraid to turn up and say, nah, I didn't do it this week. Do you know what I mean? But I got sidetracked on shiny things, as you say, where you think, if I do this or I do that. And I came into it the same as Jamie, with total overwhelm. What direction am I going in? Where am I at? How do I do this? And you can either be at the very beginning, which most of us were, or you can be in the middle or whatever. But even listening to everything everybody says, you still get value from it, because you're learning as well as listening to their story.
I really like that. I really like all of that, and I just think you've done super well. And everything that we've said, you've like taken on board, and you've gone, right, so I've done this, I've done that, and I think the great thing about you is that you're really honest when you're not quite there with something, and like you have no shame in coming to calls and saying, I didn't do it, and this is why I felt rubbish, and X, Y, Z, and it's like, okay, well, let's just take a beat, and let's just pivot, and let's just see why you feel like that. You know, obviously there are things outside of, you know, like family stuff, busyness, work and this and that, but I really like that about you. I really like the fact that you just come to these calls and you're like, I'm just laying it out as I see it.
I can't do this today, and yet by the end of the call, I'm like, oh yeah, I can.
Yeah, that is amazing. Is
and
there
the support that's there? That's really good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think I know the answer to this, but what has been like your favorite part of Rise?
Well, you know the answer to this. Going to be the calls. I love it. I absolutely love it, because it's like you get to speak to a human, and it's kind of, you get to interact, and it's just like we're all just a group of friends or whatever, and it's good.
We're all just marching through it together.
I love the live calls that you just can't beat it.
I love that. So we do just for anyone who doesn't know. So one week it'll be me and Jane, and we're like doing like the strategy and the let's do this and let's do that. And then the next week will be with Jane, where it's like, okay, how are you feeling? Are you okay with this? Like, do you need any like momentum? Like, is everything feeling good? So Jane, I'm not quite sure if you want to just like talk about that for a minute or so, because I'm kind of oblivious to it a little bit, but yeah.
It's lovely with Jane, because it's, as I say, she's on the same journey. I think as well, because we can bandy off each other, and you understand when we're feeling bad and things like that, and things are feeling overwhelming. It's good.
It's a nice time just to like almost have a check-in, just to see how we're doing, how people are feeling. If the maybe need a little bit extra support or a little bit more direction, and just double check that everything's on track more than anything. And it is like, it's such a relaxed atmosphere. It's really, really relaxed, and you feel comfortable like asking questions that in other groups you mightn't want to. So there's no like question that can't be asked and answered, and we'll work through it. And sometimes it's just a case of, right, can you show me and tell me how to do this? And it's really quite direct. Where other times it might be, listen, I've got this idea, it's grown arms and legs, can you help us rein it in and get some sort of like organization and direction? So they're really, really good calls. I really look forward to them.
And again, if anybody's feeling nervous today, I was feeling nervous today about speaking up. Do you know what I mean? It is difficult, but when you start to feel comfortable with people, it is amazing. So I never ever come to a call and think, oh my God, today I've had a bit of I'm going to have to speak. I think I would never ever have gone on camera or anything like that. And I actually did put one post of a picture of myself up there as well, which was hard, but yeah. It makes you feel a bit more comfortable in your own skin.
I love that. Oh, I love it. It's all good feelings. I love it. Thank you so much for hopping on and
no problem
chatting about things. And don't forget, you've got the community and you've got the call on Thursday as well. So I can't wait to see your posts and what you've been up to.
Okie dokie.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Jane. All right. So we have Sarah, right? Sarah's up next. I'm just like making sure I've got my everything sorted. Where are you, Sarah? Oh, you're here. Okay, right. Hang on. Let me put you on the spotlight. There we go. How are you? You okay?
Oh, good. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. I need to pee again, but I don't want to be that guy who's just like gone every 5 minutes. It's fine. I'll just hold it until I'm like, Jane, I can't hold it no more.
Same here.
So, okay. So I'm just having a little look at your bits and bobs, loading up your links and all that sort of stuff. But do you want to just give us like a little overview, just how you're feeling, what you want to get from this, I guess?
Yeah. Etsy, I sell on Etsy and Not on the High Street, have done since Not on the High Street started. I've been with them. I've been on Etsy since 2011, but I've been in business before that. At the start, everything was great, selling really, really well. and up to the pandemic, it was fantastic. Like, everyone was selling tremendously well. And then post-pandemic, there's been a downturn. Views and visits have sort of tailed off.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I've got a good customer base, so they're helping sustain everything. I do a lot of markets and fairs as well, and they are fantastic. I sell loads, so I know people like my product. I know the product's fine, but I'm not able to replicate that. I want to replicate how I sell face to face. I want to get that back online.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at.
Okay. So it's safe to say then that, again, I'm just looking at your notes and your bits and bobs here. So it's safe to say that something isn't translating in person versus online.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you are selling, talk to me a little bit more about what happened. So obviously you're in your booth, and someone walks past. What are they doing? Like, talk to me, the average person.
Yeah, I would say people are drawn in by the nostalgic prints, the whole feel of it. They don't know straight away their lavender bag. I mean, they can see bunting because that's quite clear, but initially they can't really see their lavender bag. So that kind of draws them in because they're curious. So they'll say, oh, these are lovely. It sort of reminds me when I was younger. Really like the print. Where'd you get your fabric from? So then I start talking to them about the fact that I source illustrations. I purchase them to be able to print myself.
Yeah.
I print the fabric myself, and then I make a variety of different things.
Yeah.
So they're drawn initially to the prints or illustrations, not by the fact that they're a lavender bag or a cushion. So, but online, I'm marketing them as lavender bags because I think that's what it's an easier sell than it is trying to get people drawn in because they like the images. Does that make sense?
I think so, yeah. So I just found this like picture of your booth, which is really, really handy because we were talking about it.
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah. So I can kind of see, and I really like the fact that all of your products are the same vibe. I really like that, and I really like the fact that you're like, this is my people, this is what I like, this is what I do. I think the problem comes is that I'm seeing this, and I'm seeing a feeling, right? I'm seeing nostalgia here. I'm seeing kitchen table, old drawers where the handles are falling off. I'm seeing bedside tables with like notches taken out of it, but you keep it because you love it. I'm seeing just cottage core. I'm seeing Cotswolds. I'm feeling like I guess like the old English charm, I guess, is sort of what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling here.
Yeah.
The problem is, and I would love everyone to get involved, actually. If you want to like type some things up in the chat, feel free to. But what I really like here is that all of that is coming across because you have all of your products and you're building a feeling around all of them being together.
Yeah.
And I think like what we chatted about with Karen, the first thing, I think that is something that when you're seeing success in person where you've got everything together. Country Living Mag. Yeah, perfect, Trisha. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Country Living magazine last month.
That's it. There you go. Hit the nail on the head. Well done, Trisha.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I think when I'm so like, keep this image in your head, guys. When I'm then switching over to this, it's not giving the same feeling. Now, I understand that you have tried like the pictures and stuff like that, and I think it is coming across, but I almost feel as if it's just not getting that emotion there. And I think I know you were talking about let's have a little look, make sure I thought you mentioned branding in this, but I might have been seeing things maybe. Okay.
Yeah, I think because I'd mentioned that when I first started, I didn't even sort of think about branding, but
got you.
obviously now I've had to kind of, since doing the course, it's kind of got me to channel and focus more.
Got you. Okay. So I think a lot of this, to be honest with you, I think because when you have an e-commerce website, it's very utilitarian, because it's very like you have this square to do stuff with and to make sure that everything's coming across right. You have words, you have the price, you have the description.
Yeah.
Whereas again, when you're doing in-person events, you've got all of this stuff. So that is, well, like he says, it almost looks too clean for the country living atmosphere. Yeah, I do agree with that. I think that it's not bringing the same emotion, like, especially I'd say maybe like this one here, maybe this one here. I like the two photos in and of themselves, but I'm just wondering, could we put more of the feeling there?
Right.
But I think that is why social media is so important for stuff like this, because that is almost a bit more of an open stage for you to get across your feeling or your vibe through video, carousels, stories, all those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So have a little chat with me about your social media. Let me see if I can. There we go. So what have you been doing in terms of your socials and getting that feeling across?
Yeah, I try to go on to, I've worked out that through the course, Instagram seems to be where my target audience is.
Yes.
As opposed to any other social media platform. So yes, I've got a lot of people I know from fairs, from markets, so I can chat to them about a whole variety of things. I know my target audience likes nature, outdoors, gardening, that type of thing. So I try to not do every post as a business post, but a kind of a splattering of where we went for a walk at the weekend or what's happening in the garden, just to keep my audience kind of enthused, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay. So I think there's a wasp in here, actually. Hang on. No, I keep hearing this vicious buzzy noise and there's nothing in here, so that's fine. I think with this, your social media audience are very engaged, which is great. But what I would like to see is more video, because I do think that is going to be what gets that across. So for instance, you were here and you were out and about. So what I perhaps would have done is I would have gone, it's a nice day, bluebells are out, it's just looking very fresh and very, very nice and very aesthetic to my brand. So what I would have done is I probably would have gone, right, I am gonna take a video of this, right, and I'm gonna upload that as a reel and just kind of do that and maybe have some overlay on it. Maybe like if you do a close-up of the bluebells, if you've got like a bluebell themed product, I might have put that on there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think because like that gets the feels, because you're spanning across this lovely feel and then you're putting like a bluebell related product, and that's just a very sort of top of my head, it's a very small way of just connecting the two, because what you're doing is that you've almost got like products vibe products. So it's kind of like they're great, but you want to connect those two at all times.
Yeah, because I do try and make items that relate to the season, so be it lavender or bluebells in this case. So yes, that makes perfect sense to kind of marry the two together. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. But what I would have done is that I almost would have suggested that I would have done like the video of you go, hang on, let me grab my phone so I'm not looking quite like an idiot doing this. I would have done this, and then I maybe would have gone close up and kind of filmed it, and then basically the premise of this is that I would have filmed 5 short videos, three to 5. I would have put them in a folder somewhere and almost begin to have what we call like a B-roll catalog of lots of different video snippets, all within your brand vibe, all in your aesthetic, where you can pull upon at any moment. So if you're like, I didn't really go out anywhere today, like, or this week, I kind of really want something. I want to post on social media. I want to continue this thing going.
Yeah.
But I haven't got anything to post. That's where you draw on that. And there's lots of things that you can do with short videos. Like we said, you can overlay a product. You can literally put a video with like some text over the top. You can have like little clips where it's like a snippet of this and a snippet of that and a snippet of this. I think for me, having a very, very quick look, I think that's what's missing. And I think for anyone, because Leah's just said the same thing, I think for anyone that is struggling translating in-person sales to online, it's purely because you're taking the aesthetic and the life and the soul out of your brand when you're translating it online, and all we have to do is just get that back. And that is where having really nice pictures with all the goods on it, and really using social media, because that is where people discover you. And if the feeling and the vibe matches up with what they want, then you have that immediate connection with who they are, what they want, and you. So I would explore ways to do that. And I love your products. I think they're fab. I just think we need to marry that up, because like you're saying, it's not the product, it's not the pricing, it's not any of these things. It's just the fact that people are not getting the same feelings as they do when they're in person.
So how do they, if someone was landing on my Etsy page, they've done a search, how do I get that feeling across through a photograph?
So I'd like to do some research on it, maybe a little bit more, but what I would say is that I think there's just some tweaks that could be made. For example, I think it would be good if the editing style, so I think probably a little bit brighter, maybe slightly warmer, even just a little tweak. That in itself, because like if you're looking at a photo, I want to see if I can get an example quickly, just while I'm here, just to demonstrate this.
While Steph's looking for an example, I would also make sure as well, because I think it's something that Steph's talking about, is one of the main differences within shopping in person and online is that you can't pick the things up, you can't feel them until.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, Jane, you've gone muted.
I know. Muted. Sorry.
Oh, there you
go. So make sure that you've got videos in your listings as well.
That's it. Yeah.
Because that's the way that you can really, really showcase the texture. If it's soft, if it's hard, and if you've got a smell, make sure that you've got what you call visual indicators, which could be little bits of lavender, or you squeezing it, so when people squeeze it, they can almost imagine the smell of the lavender coming out. So it's all about trying to get people to imagine it in their hands as well.
That's it. And like I've just found this as a not a very good example, because they're not the same product, but you're looking at this here. Yes, it's got a nice video, but you're looking at that here, and to me the image is quite dark. To me it's just not screaming, I can see this making my home more homely, more warm, more cozy, more inviting, which is what you want at the end of the day. Whereas if I was to scroll down to something like this here, or this even, it's a lot warmer, it's a lot brighter, it's getting the feelings across that I think they want to get across. And this is where photography, I mean, Jane can attest to this, but I think this is where photography is really super important, and I think it does trip a lot of people up. But like even this, like, okay, yeah, I mean, it's a cushion that looks like it's on a floor. I mean, it's fine. It does what it says on the tin, but you look at that and then you compare it to, I don't know, something else, even this one, and you're immediately getting the vibes. Like even this one in the background, you can quite clearly see it's on a chair of some sort with a throw behind it. And it's just little things like that. It's not something that we can say, make this humongous change and you'll see a difference, because it's not that. It's all about the aesthetic and the vibes. And even something like this, you know, here, where it's like, it's stage. And I think that's like the key thing here for you, and also for Karen as well, if Karen's still here. But it's the staging and getting the staging right. And like what Jane said, getting the videos in there, I think would be really important, and just making sure that the videos are getting across exactly the feeling that is coming across in person. Now, just very, very quickly as well, what I think, when's your next markets?
My next one's Saturday.
Okay. What I would love is if you could maybe either pay like a really close attention to how people are like walking past you, just write a few things down. If you overhear someone saying, oh, like this reminds me of like someone, or this is giving me Victoria Sponge and a pot of tea vibes, or this is giving me this is, just make a few notes. And I think for extra credit, if you can say to 3 people that buy your products, what drew you to me? What drew you to come in? And just see what they say. Write these things down. Suzanne did a similar thing, didn't you? Give us a little wave. Hello. Where you were kind of struggling with the target audience piece a little bit. So we were like, okay, why don't we actually go into garden centers and places where your target audience are, and just sit and observe and just see what other brands are there, see what kind of staging they use, see what kind of color palettes they use, and actually just see how brands who have the same target audience and same aesthetic, how they are presenting their products. Because, you know, if you're in a concession stand in a garden center, you've got it worse, because you can't even talk about your products. It's just sat there for days and weeks on end. So I don't know if that helps or not, but that would be my challenge for you, is to do that. And I think also congratulations on 20 years doing this. Like, that's just awesome.
By hook or by crook, I got there. Oh God. Yeah, but no, I've learned so much so far, and I can't believe I've got here after 20 years. I've probably done some things subliminally, but I think I kind of think it's kind of made me focus so much more.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And I think your stuff is really, really cool. And I'd also like to say as well, just very, very quickly, if anyone is thinking, because the HBSA is obviously online, but in person as well. So don't consider it a failure, or not that you're using that word, but if anyone here is doing really well in in-person markets but not doing so well online, don't think of that as like, oh, I'm just not cut out for it, or a failure, or anything like that. It's just a case of something's not translating across. It's actually a really positive thing, and vice versa as well.
I suppose it's just identifying that, isn't it? Because I think I think I've learned that I need to pick up on perhaps what customers say, how they react, and how they do things, to try and translate. So yes, I'm in that kind of transition of now needing that direction to translate from sort of online to in person to online. So hopefully I'll get there.
Yeah, you will. And I think, like, you're obviously driven. You're obviously like, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna do whatever you say. I'm just gonna give it a go, even if I'm not really feeling it. So I think that's a really positive thing as well, because and that's definitely a trait that we've seen in everyone in Rise, is people are just like, we're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna come here sometimes and be like, I haven't done it, or I wasn't feeling it, but I'm gonna give it my good go, you know.
Oh yeah, you've got to be honest with yourself as well, because if you're not honest, then you're not going to move forward.
That's it. Awesome.
Thank you.
No, that's fine. Is there any like final questions or anything you have?
No, I think I've written some notes, but I'll listen back as well. So
okay.
No, that's great. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, my lovely.
Thank you.
All right, so I've put this time aside now because obviously I'm really aware that we've been batting on about Rise, and I haven't actually put the link in or given you guys any indication as to how you can actually get in on this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen real quick. I'm not going to lie, I haven't prepared any slides or notes or anything like that. So you might just have to look at my jingity janked way of doing it, which is fine. So Rise is officially open now. I'm going to reserve between kind of now and when did we say, Jane? Between now and when Trisha's slot is at 2. Reserve this time if you've got any questions or anything you want to ask, or anything in terms of like Rise, like if you've got any questions about Rise or anything you want to ask, then ask them. Feel free to. You can put it in the chat, or you can be like, give me a little wave and I can put you on screen. But it is now open. I'm going to pop the linky poo in the little chat bar thing. If you don't see it, let me know and I'll pop it in the community group and tag you and do some kind of magic with it. But basically the overall gist of Rise, I'm just going to scroll down all of this because you can read this at your leisure whenever you fancy. But as you've seen, heard, the overall thing with Rise is those weekly calls. So we have week 1 where, and it's not like week 1, week 2, week 1, week 2. It's just how we explain it, just to make it a little bit easier. So we have week 1 where it's accountability and momentum call with Jane. So Jane, if you're here, give me a little hello. Hello, there she is. With her new hair. She's like, new hair. So we have that, and that's really where one thing that I love about Jane is that she's really good at finding the mindset issues that are there and finding the mindset blocks. And she'll sit and she'll like listen and I'll be like, okay, yeah, like strategy, like how can we get, and then Jane will say something like, have you thought about this? And it's like, what? This is crazy. So that is why we have like a dedicated call with Jane, because sometimes all the strategy in the world is not going to cut it if there's something there that's keeping you stuck, whether that's your confidence, whether that's you feeling like you're being judged, whether that, whatever that may be. And then obviously the week after that, so it's like every other week. So you get Tuesday. And the week 2, if you like, is the call with me and Jane. So it's a bit like today, where we're both coming at it with 2 different sets of eyeballs. So it's not just me looking at it in my way, in my head, Jane doing the same thing. And this is where we really dig into, okay, we have your goals. And this is what I was saying right way back when we first started this call. But when you join, we basically run you through this entire thing where you answer. It's quite chunky. It's probably going to take you about 30 minutes or so to answer all the questions. But through that, we actually get to discover what your goals are, where your business is at. We get to like see your business, find the link, like really dig into it and actually understand a little bit more about, okay, how are we going to break it down? So that is this call here is really based off of that, and really looking at, okay, so what do we need to do with you to get you towards that goal? Okay. Then we have the weekly accountability concierge, which was the fanciest thing I could have named it. So there you go. And what this is basically, it is a way every single week, every Monday, you are going to have your to-dos done for you. So it's like you start off Monday. It's like, hey, okay, based on what we talked about in last Tuesday's call, based on what you've told us in the post, and obviously the community is open all the time. Based on all of this, this is what I think, or we think you should be doing this week. So Monday, here's this, and this. And if you're saying to me, Steph, I just want one thing to do this week, that's fine. If you're saying, Steph, give me like 7 things to do, we can do that as well. So it's all very based on what you want. It's not just like a personalized, like generic thing. It's something that we talk to you about. We get to know you. And that's the beauty about Rise, is that we get to know you and how you best learn. So like, for example, we know Jamie doesn't want a list of like 25 things to do every week. She's like, no, just give me like 1 or 2 things and I can get those done. So that's that. Then we have the daily check-in. So every work day, Monday to Friday, we're going to like at you, tag you, make sure that you're all good. really hammering home that whole accountability piece, right, Jane? I don't know if you want to say anything about this, because I know that you love the daily check-ins, don't you? There, your phone.
Do you know what it is, though? It's because it helps make sure that we're on track as well, because we want to help you as much as we possibly can. So, like Steph says, every single day there's a different type of check-in. So on a Monday, it's really about setting your goals, seeing how it can help you, giving you a bit of motivation. And then, like, maybe it's like on a Wednesday and Thursday, it's a lot more laid back. So we're not like in your face all the time. So they really help.
And then we also have some like lessons in there as well. Not gonna lie, like when we first started Rise, it was going to be like, wasn't it, Jane? It was going to be like a lesson library. But I think from what you guys have probably heard from the other ladies who are in Rise, is that that's the last thing you want. The last thing you want is more lessons, more stuff, more reading, more this. But they are in there, and they are really, really useful things if you want to kind of, if you are at that point where you are quite far through the course, you're like, yeah, I kind of got the basics down pat, I kind of understand that, but you're like wanting to take it further, then they are there, and they're still there for you to use to this day. And then obviously you get the community as well, which is grand, because there's no Facebook distractions, there's no like that annoying boom that you get when you're on it every time, and it's like, for crying out loud. It's distraction free. You get your own space. Everything to do with you will get posted in your personalized space, as you've seen this week. So I guess the price is what you're all been waiting for, which is that there. I don't know if you can see that. So we have, oh no, I've done a thing. I zoomed in and then it zoomed off. There we go. So we have both things are like the same. So obviously you've got each side, you've got this, you've got that. We have a 6-month option now, or a 12-month option. All the 3 ladies who are currently in Rise are doing the 12-month option. So the 6-month option, you got one payment of $2,250, or you've got the 6 monthly payments. The payment plan is $395. So that's the 6-month option. Then you have the 12-month option, which is what all the ladies, like I said, are doing in Rise right now. And that's $3,799, or you get the 12 monthly payments of $350. So we've tried to make it as accessible as we can. Obviously, as you can probably appreciate and understand, we want to keep the group quite small, which is why we've only opened up the 8 slots. I know there's like 15 people that are signed up for the Taster Week. So, yeah. Any questions at all? Anything anyone wants to ask or speak about or inquire about to do with Rise whilst we've got some little time? Don't all scream at once. If you've got a question and you don't want to put your camera on or mic on, you can just like type it in chat. I'll give it a minute or so. I'll just have a little sip of my water before I completely dry out. Hello.
Oh, hello, sorry, can I just ask those that are already on Rise whether you found, I think you have kind of sort of said it in a way, but whether you found, obviously you found it helpful, but whether it made a big difference in the amount of money that you were seeing coming back into your income stream?
Yeah, I mean, Jane and Susanna are still here, but I think Jane had to go because she's had her class. So yeah, I'll let yeah.
I think it was it's hard really for me to say, because I wasn't really that far on Etsy. I'm only just really getting to the point. I mean, I started off selling, I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they're like training dog collars, the grots. I sold quite a lot of them. With the training people the dog trainers that I deal with, and obviously, yes, I've sold quite a few of those, but now I'm starting to branch out and actually build up the amount of listings that I've got. So I couldn't say definitively, but then it's only been 4 months. So yeah, so I was at the very, very beginning of it all. And then I'm now at the point now where I just want to just post as many listings as I can.
Yeah.
And are you getting orders quite regularly?
I don't know. You can't see, again, it's something that you can't really base it on, because what I've actually got on the listings at the moment, they're called grot collars. They're like a slip lead training thing for dogs. So they're kind of quite specialized. And obviously my price compared to others is completely different. that's how to kind of tell you. I sell them for £15 at the dog trainers because he won't put the price up any more than that. But I sell them for 30 on Etsy.
And people buy them?
Yes. And I've had some lovely reviews and things like that. I'm just working on at the minute something called EM beads, where it's their anti-tick collars. They're great for people who have got dogs with issues that can't take medication or sensitivities and things like that. So I'm doing that. And then I've got quite a few other products to actually put on. So it's kind of, it depends what stage you are at in it. I just knew that the only way for me to do it was to have the one-to-one face-to-face to learn how to do it. And I did forget to say that obviously taking the leap of faith and actually paying out the money, I went through hell thinking, do I do it? Do I not do it? And speaking to my husband, he was like, but my mum supported me. Do you know what I mean? So she's my biggest fan in all this. And I took the leap, and I'm pleased I did. But it's not for, if you haven't got it, you haven't got it. Do you know what I mean? It just depends how you want to do it. But I know that I learn that way.
Yeah, lovely.
Sorry,
thank
I'm picking on.
No, thank you.
No, you're fine. Suzanne is here, but what she's done, I don't know whether this might be helpful, but she actually wrote a little letter because she was a bit like, I'm not sure I want to, like, you know, go on screen and like talk. She's like, no. But she wrote a letter basically kind of getting across what she wanted to get across. So feel free to, like, you know, screenshot this or read through it. But that kind of talks a little bit more about her experience with things and all that kind of stuff. And I know that with Suzanne, like, she has just launched her like Etsy shop after months of like kind of doing things and then dipping in, dipping out, all that kind of stuff. So I know that for a lot of people, it's either going to be something that works alongside the HBSA, so you kind of like dip into that, then you come to Tuesday calls and you're like, okay, I've just done this, what do you think about this, how are we doing with that, have I done this right, what else am I missing, what can I do to get sales pretty quickly, all that kind of stuff. Whereas for a fair few of you might be quite a way through the course and you might be thinking, you know what, actually I'm kind of feeling as if I want that next level, like that next step. And I think that's where Rise does score, because it's like, it's personalized to you, we're talking to you, it's not a curriculum based thing, if that makes sense. It's something where you come and you say, I need help with this, and we're like, okay, well, let's help you with that then. It's not like the HBSA, which is curriculum based, like you've got everything you need, go nuts. But like what we've said already, some people are and just do need that extra level of face-to-face accountability, talk things through, what have you. So I hope that makes sense. But yeah, Suzanne herself is like come on leaps and bounds, and getting things listed, and the social media as well. Like that was always like a massive thing, and you've come on leaps and bounds with that. So we're all like really proud of you. She's like, oh. So awesome, right? Jane's disappeared. Where are you, Jane? Come back, come hither. Because I do need to pee again. I'm that person who needs to go again. But is there any other questions that anyone has about this or about anything? I'll pop the link in again just in case it's gone somewhere. I will pop it in the community as well and kind of tag everyone and just say this is the link in case you couldn't find it. One thing I will say is that sometimes the chat logs after the live, they disappear. So if there is anything that you want to save it now, because sometimes it can go. But that is that. Right. So the next person we have is Trisha. So Trisha, can I leave you with Jane? Because sorry, Jane, I need to pee again. I'm so sorry.
I'm definitely not the only one who's got a tiny bladder.
I've got a weeny bladder, it seems. I don't know. I don't even know. But right, I'll be back in just a jiff.
Hi Trisha, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Hi everyone. This is my first time to this group, so hi.
Don't worry, it's nearly everybody's first time as well. Do you feel like you're a first time caller, long time listener?
Oh, you've got it. Yes, I've been skulking in the background for years now. So
well, we're so pleased that you joined the HBSA. So just so we can get like an overview of your business, can you just basically just give her a little rundown of how you started, what you do? Please.
Okay, well, I started initially as an artist, and basically I got knocked for six on a project I was working on, which was actually a huge big project with Battersea Power Station, and basically they said they didn't want it anymore, and I found out later they got someone else to do all my plans and everything else, so it really knocked me for six. Then I someone said to me, could I put a pendant of my paintings? A piece of my painting, could it go in a pendant? And that sort of snowballed into me making jewelry, basically. We then moved on to 8 years ago. I lost my mum, and my sister said, could I put mum's ashes into a pendant? Which initially I thought, well, that's weird. However, I Googled memorial jewelry.
Yeah.
Ooh. It's not a weird thing. It's actually a very moving, helpful, supportive thing to do.
Yeah.
And I have been doing that ever since. And I must admit, I absolutely love it. It's the best thing I've ever done. I love doing it.
Yeah.
But what I find very hard is I'm seeing, and I suppose it's, I'm jealous. I won't deny it. I'm seeing other people coming in since lockdown, and they're just going whoosh and sort of overtaking me, and I find that very hard.
Yeah.
But I also work with flowers as well. I press flowers from my garden and make pendants with the flowers, and I also incorporate that into memorial pieces as well. So that's basically where I'm at. I have just hit 2,000 sales on Etsy, which is, I'm still like going pinch. But that has taken, since 2013. But I must admit, the biggest part of it has been the last couple of years. And again, someone said to me, could I make a piece with breast milk in it? And I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know how to do it. And Etsy obviously don't allow you to do anything with human products. So I turned it into a DIY kit, and that was 4 years ago. And those are my biggest sellers, my breast milk DIY kits.
That's brilliant. Sorry, I make notes so I don't forget anything. So if I go quiet,
it is a little bit itsy-bitsy, but they've all followed on from one or another, or because someone has said to me, can you do this?
Yeah.
So
I think that's fantastic though, because they're all tying together. A lot of the time you can get shops where they do, I don't know, they sell shoes, then they sell cake stands, where all of yours, they come in really, really nice together. They've got that common thread, so it's all like one niche. So that's really good. And the fact that you've now got 2,000 sales on Etsy is fantastic. So like massive well done to you. What do you want your business to look like?
Rich. Super attractive, that people go, I must buy from her. I've tried to make my photographs all fluffy and lovely and blowing dandelions, and in my eyes, sorry,
that doesn't seem like it sits well with you.
Fluffy does, yeah. I'm very contemporary, I would say. I am more a contemporary style. So as my memorial jewelry is, I place enamel on first, and then I actually lay the ashes in a pattern, where a lot of people now, they just mix it all together and put it in. And so it's designing. I design my jewelry, I design patterns of the jewelry. I don't actually make the actual bezels, but I do crafty bits within the pieces I make. But my draw has always been Country Living magazine. I've been going to the exhibition for years, and I've just always wanted it to look like everything to look like Country Living magazine.
Yeah. That's not a bad thing to aim for, as long as it ties in with what you're selling and your target market. So
Yeah.
I know you haven't long since joined the HBSA. Is that's correct, isn't it? So you've been in the other group for a long time, because I see your name pop up all the time. It's really, really good. So have you started doing any of the course yet?
Yeah, I think I'm on about the second bit. I am very slow at understanding things. It's like I have really bad dyslexia, so it's like getting to grips with what I'm supposed to be doing, which is, I suppose, another reason why it's taken me so long to sort of bite the bullet and join in, because I thought I'd be left behind. But knowing that it's not right, we do this month, we do that this month. I've done other courses, and I was actually told that I was too slow, and that then I was like, that knocked me back. So, but knowing I can just do it at my own pace. But I do like being able to talk to people and saying, does this make sense?
Yeah.
Or having someone else say, well, actually, I've been in your shoes.
Yeah.
And you know, don't be silly. You're not, you're not blowing it all out of proportion or something.
No, because you can guarantee that somebody else has been through, or somebody else is thinking exactly what you're thinking. So within the HBSA, please don't ever worry that you're going too slow, because you're not. You're really not.
No, I realise that, because I've been watching it for a long time. As you know, I've been skulking in the background, and it was just like having the money, having the money to sign up, and knowing that I can trust that I can pay that each month, and not think, oh shit, I've got to pay that each month. It's knowing that just 2 sales and that's it, I'm done.
Yeah, it makes a big, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's putting your mindset in a different place. And not worrying about the finances, because they're sorted.
It almost takes care of themselves.
It's the consistency that I find hard. It's the ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
And that's when I start to the memories of, oh, you're not good enough, you can't do this, and why have you chosen to do this? And then I start looking at other people who are the comparisonitis kicks in.
Yeah. So I was going to go back to that, because I know it was one thing that you had mentioned before, that you, using your own words, you're admittedly jealous of people who appear to be further on than you. And it's something that I'd be surprised if nobody else on this call didn't say, yes, I've been there. Because what all have, I have all the time, like every single day I do it. And it's really, really hard. But I think one thing that I've started to do is to basically remind myself that I've got no idea how long they've been going for, really. Like, and I know we might think we have an idea, but we genuinely don't know how long they've been going for. We don't know how much time they've got to dedicate to it. You don't know if they've got a massive team, and you don't know if they're actually making any profit. So these people could be selling thousands and thousands of items a day, but they might be making a penny profit every day, where you might sell, I don't know, 1 or 2 items a week, but make more profit.
Well, I go on my 70%, that Steph says.
And that's fantastic. That's really, really good, because
I drive my husband nuts. I go, it's got to have 70% profit. Otherwise,
and that's really, really good. That otherwise you don't have a sustainable business.
No, well, that is it. You're working for your pennies, aren't you?
Definitely.
Yeah,
you really are. So keep that mindset and keep that ethos about charging your worth, because otherwise you don't have a business to come back on. You don't. And I think one thing that we can really, really help you with is getting your branding sorted.
Yeah.
And that'll really, really help. So, because each phase of the course leads on to something else. So you identifying your target market will impact every single aspect of your business. If you don't know who your target market is, you might as well not know your name. in business. It's as important as that. And then that'll lead on to, you know, getting your branding sorted. Once you've got your branding sorted, you know what your values are, you know what your messaging can be. And that really, really helps you create a unique brand, unique products, and have a unique selling point. And all them three things together are the things that's going to like skyrocket you. I know it sounds cheesy and corny, but it's true. So we can help you in the HBSE or in Rise, whichever works best for you, to get you wherever you want to be.
Okay.
Was there any like particular questions you had for like anything that we can help you with like at the minute?
Yeah.
I think it's just more of like reassurance that just, you know, keep going. You're going to have up and down days, and it's like I've said it to other people, and then I'm asking to someone to say it to me. It's I'm slowly working through my Etsy on all the gaps, like naming the photographs, making sure everything's got videos on it, and it seems like an uphill climb, but I'm slowly getting there because I just like threw so much on there and not knowing what I was doing until a couple of years ago. So undoing all the stuff that I didn't need to be there as well. And it's. Oh, it's like I said to my husband. I was saying about the funeral directors. I'm saying to my husband, should I just forget that I'm in the funeral director, so to speak, because I see the funeral directors now promoting the different people that they have, and whereas I used to be like the sole provider in the funeral directors, they're now choosing 3 or 4 different. In fact, one of them did a video recently, and they'd got this one of the my characters, huge, beautiful, big background. I thought, oh, thanks. That's not promoting me anymore. And I do loads online of video collaborations, saying who I'm working with, and I'm still saying I'm working with the funeral directors and stuff.
Okay. So I think probably, I mean, obviously I missed the beginning of this, but I think a lot of it from what I've caught sounds like you are doing the uphill battle of like doing all these things that take time, and then like today you're doing this, the next day you're doing that, but actually sometimes you need some like reassurance that it's the right thing to do, you're going somewhere with it all is feeling worth it. Does that make sense? So it's all feeling like,
oh yeah,
you're going the right way, because I think it's all well and good doing a lot of this, but I think every single one of us here don't have time to waste per se. Like we have a bit of time, but we don't have time to waste on doing things that are, you know, not gonna make the difference. And I think that kind of hits a nail on the head with what you said. That's right.
My dog's just stolen his dog bowl and he's bashing it against the wall.
Sounds like Jane's dog. Sounds like something Jane's dog would do.
Oh, it was the dog bashing his against the wall. Right, sorry. Yeah,
that's all right. The only thing I will say,
I feel like I'm pedaling and I'm trying.
Bad.
I feel like I'm pedaling on 2 bikes, which is it's just not working.
Yeah. So I think with that, it's something where you just need someone to say, yes, that's making sense. Yes, that is likely to get you to where you need to go. Keep going, you know. And I think that sometimes when we're on our own doing it and we're just kind of thinking, you know, is this worth it? Is this working? Is this the kind of thing I'm meant to be doing? Does this make sense? And I think that, I think that from what I've heard, which is not a great deal, but from what I've heard, that is the number one thing that I'm getting from you.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, because the only person I share anything else with is my husband, and whatever I want to do, it's like, yes, darling, that's perfect. So it's which is wonderful to have someone so supportive, but sometimes you just need someone who has an understanding of business or done it, got the t-shirt and everything else, and also has made some things that go right or an outside to go, is that really a good decision? And, quite frankly, give me a slap and go, come on, pull your back.
Yeah.
Look at what you're doing. That's what I feel I'd could do support, should we say.
Yeah. The only thing I will say is that your connection is coming up quite bad for me and Jane. So I think we're missing little bits because it's like it's kind of juddery and jerking out. But I think we've got everything. So I guess my question to you then would be how, because you probably know by now, but the big three are always going to be your products themselves, your target audience, and your branding. Those are like the trio of like the foundational stuff that you need to make sure, which, to be honest with you, a lot of people think they've done, but then when you dig into it and you look into it, there's some tweaks and some things that we need to change. So how are you feeling about those three things? So just a reminder, it's your actual products, your target audience, and your branding. How are you feeling about those three things?
Right, my branding obviously tweaked the last couple of weeks with the brandathon.
Yeah.
And I'm a lot happier. Well, in fact, I'm really chuffed to bits with the way I've now evolved. And I've had a lot of feedback that I haven't asked for, which has really sort of gone, I've obviously done the right thing.
Nice.
So that has been really nice. And I've got the themed colour and everything, and I think I've grown up. I'm a big girl now. I've got everything.
Oh, you got your big girl pants on, eh?
Pants on, it's all the same, and it's washy. I'm really, really happy with that.
Yeah.
And to get a third party day, all brands was like, my target audience, I think I knew they were, which is like 99% women, over sort of 40 seems to be the, because I look at who buys with Memorial. However, with the DIY products, my breast milk is the men buying for their partners.
Yeah.
Which is really sweet. Like, the messages they send through, they want the new mum in their life is just really. So my product side of that, again, I have two products. I've got my Memorial and a different target audience, my DIY breast milk, and I've got a target audience there.
Yeah.
So tying them or accepting they are two very different things.
Yeah. Sorry, Trisha, I'm not sure if you're able to connect or move a little bit closer, because I'm literally only catching every like third or fourth word. I don't want to miss anything. I know we've
sorry,
only got, like, 5 minutes. Yeah,
so,
no, that's fine. No, it's just like I'm only catching like every third or fifth word.
All right, sorry. Is that better? Is that better?
Not really, no. Sorry.
Okay.
It comes up with a little red doodah at the bottom of the thing. Oh, now you've gone. Oh, now you've gone completely. Oh no. So I guess that wasn't better then, no? I guess that wasn't the one.
Oopsies.
Oopsie daisy. I'll give it a minute. Hopefully she'll come back.
What have you done, Steph?
Oh, it's just me, isn't it? I've said it now. I made a move, and it was all a thing. No, okay, right. I might leave it a mo and see. But I think we've all actually got pretty good internet connections, because I think that's the only one that's been a wee bit wonky, shall we say? Right, I'll give it a couple of minutes. This is like awkward moment now where you're like, oh, doggo, Anna's got a doggo. Oh,
that's what we all do, isn't it? Like dogs.
If it's cats or dogs, we're like, oh, oh, hello, you're so sweet.
I'm currently like that about me Easter egg.
Oh. She lifts up this whopping great thing. I've just been having this. Oh, I see how it is. That's brilliant. Oh, hi, doggo. Hello. Oh, that's great.
This is Peanut.
Peanut. Hi, Peanut. So I don't know. I don't really
know.
I don't know.
I'm gonna go back out in the sun. No, she's off.
She's like, see you later then. I'm out. This is boring. I'm gone. Okay, right. I might have to. I'll move on. Oh, I think Trisha's back. Trisha,
Sorry, I am back. Yeah, sorry. The other thing is I'm a technophobe, and if I touch something, it goes.
It's probably my fault for saying to move, actually, but there we are. It was just the last thing because Wilecki's up next at 14:20. So I just wanted to chat to you about. Yeah. You spoke about your branding, your target audience, like your actual products. You know that those three things are like married up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
brilliant. Because I think the brandathon obviously did wonders because you got your branding down and then you're getting people giving you feedback, which is really, really good. So I think for you mainly, I would suggest just to like carry on working through the course in the kind of linear way, and kind of like, you know, what we've spoken about is a little bit every day does go a long way. But I think as well, it's really worthwhile, I think, making sure that you're getting feedback from the right people. I think every single one of us here have had people giving us feedback where maybe we take it to heart, but then, you know, hindsight, we think, are they our target audience? Should we maybe have taken, you know? So I think just like making sure that the demons in our head is not recycled opinions of other people that have been thrust upon us, not even given to us, they've been pushed upon us, and they are from our target audience and from the right people, and something that we should actually listen to. I think there's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of people giving opinions. And I think that would be the main thing that I would say.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Lovely to chat to you. Sorry about the internet issues.
That's all right. It doesn't help that I'm just on my phone.
That's all right. It doesn't matter these days, I suppose.
Thank you very much,
Trisha. Thank you. All right, Wilecki, you are up next.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Brilliant. It's nice to put a face to a name. Hello.
Yeah. Oh, so it's on. My name is Willeke.
Willeke. And there's me been saying it wrong this entire time.
I'm used to it here.
You're used to it. There's me saying it wrong for like a year, and you're like, I mean, she's attached to it now. It's fine.
Yeah.
So, okay. Right, I've got your shop up here. I'm going to share it on screen real quick. Jane, was there anything that you wanted to touch upon just when I'm loading up all my links and all those things?
No, it would just be really nice to hear from Willeke about how you started your business, how you want it to go. That'll be a really good place to start, please.
Yeah.
Well, I started when I moved to the UK.
Mm-hmm.
A bit of side job, and thought, well, if I want to do something for myself and have my own business, this is the time, because I was working in the Netherlands and didn't have a job here, so had some savings so I could sort it out. And since 2 years, I'm now officially having my own business with my Etsy shop.
Awesome.
And it's still growing, so it doesn't grow fast, but it's growing.
That's really, really good. Yeah. So, okay, brilliant. So I've got here that you officially launched in March 2023.
Yeah.
You're also going through the HBSA, which is really, really good. So your current focus is, you've got an Etsy shop, you've also got a website. Which one are you finding the best at the minute?
My Etsy shop, because my web shop doesn't do much. So I thought, well, first want to optimize my Etsy shop.
Yeah.
And have that in place, and then move over to my web shop, because that's only costing money now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you're not the first person to say that either. Which is like, you have both there, but then you're like, well, Etsy's driving me traffic, it's giving me this, and then you're like, okay, I'm just kind of paying out for a website that's just kind of sat there. So okay, I've got here that you really want to almost get a step-by-step plan to optimize your shop, right? So you're kind of like, this is good, the growth is okay, but I want it to kind of go up a little
Well,
bit.
the goal is to be just financially free and can pay my bills from it and have it as.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I like that you've started to add different products though as well. I think that is that a new thing? I don't remember seeing that before.
No, I let it expire for a bit, and then a friend of mine asked for a hair clip again with a flower on, and I thought, well, maybe summer's coming up. I do a lot of rock and roll events.
Yeah.
So.
Got you. Okay, because that was going to be something that I was going to suggest to you actually. I love that. That's so cool. But I really like the idea of having things that are, you can, don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's a different use. It's a different use for the product that you already make, and I really like the fact that there's lots of different uses for this. Like you can have a hair clip that's like a little tiny hair clip. You can have, there's lots of different things. You can even make earrings out of them, which I'm excited about. As you know, I do enjoy my earrings.
I know.
But I think and Jane, I'm not quite sure if you agree with this or not, but I really like the fact that you have the flowers that you can kind of have as, kind of put in a vase or a holder of some sort, and you are so good at what you do. Like the larkspurs are amazing, and I've never seen anything like that before, and I think they are so good. And I'm just kind of wondering, okay, so we have your shop fully stocked of ways that people can buy different strands and create a bunch. But what other, if someone was to say to you, oh, I love what you do, but I just don't really have flowers in my home, or I don't really have any room for it, or maybe there's something along those lines, is there any other product ideas that you can use in the creation methods that you have, if that makes sense?
Think of anything so quickly.
Yeah. So I think it might be worth having a little think about it. Other ways. So a bit like I'm just trying to think of an example. I suppose it's a bit like if you have, Jane, I don't know if you've got an example of like something where
complementary products, I think, is what Steph's trying to think of. It's ways where it's basically you're not changing the essence of your shop, and you're not changing the fundamental product that you're making, but there's other ways to utilize it and other ways to use it. So for argument's sake, you could have, the flowers that you've got now where you're making beautiful displays to go in vases. Could you make that into wall art? Could you make that into a door decoration? Could you make it into hair bows, hair bobbles? Looking at other ways to expand your product range.
Well, what I do want to do is focus also a bit more on like whole bouquets. Or wedding bouquets, or.
That was going to be my next question, actually, was the bouquet side of it, because you've got like the individual strands and stuff like that, and I think actually having them as a bouquet, and wedding bouquets would definitely be one that I know a lot of people would like to keep their bouquet from weddings, whatever. And I think obviously the options for that are fairly limited. Esther, I know you're raising your hand. Do you want to pop it in the chat, just because I just want to make sure that we get through everything we need to get through? I'm not sure. I can't
use my chat for some reason, but I was just about to suggest the wedding bouquets, because and also because my son's getting married, I've been looking for a different type of fascinator, not just ones that are made or that you can buy. And so I was going to make my own, and I was wondering whether you could make some fascinators out of them and things like that. that might be something different. But I don't know why my chat's not working. Sorry, but that's what I was going to say.
Right. No, it's fine. Yeah, I think it's like a little tab, isn't it, that you click across, but we can always fix that on. But thank you. Yeah, no, I think S is right. I think the wedding industry would be huge. Yeah. I know that there are a lot of people. One of my best friends, she's in the wedding industry, and she actually arranges massive wedding events. And even she said that a lot of people are opting for the more sustainable option, opting for the more eco-friendly, opting for something that they're spending the money on, but then they can keep, because it's otherwise.
Yeah, a lot of brides want to keep their bouquet. And
that's it.
How far through the course are you?
I'm at my branding now.
Okay, so have you identified your target market already? Who's your target market?
Well, I think mostly ladies that like colorful flowers, looking for affordable flowers, because that's what I noticed when I came to the UK and always been working in the flower business. The prices of the flowers here are just skyrocketed. It's really high for what, and I can offer for the same price, something you can keep or change around or add to, or
yeah.
So I think I'm looking for people that want everlasting flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. I think if that's your target audience, then I would consider having a natural extension of your products to offer. Because if someone likes flowers, like I love flowers, and I've always got a vase of like flowers in the lounge, and obviously everything I wear, everything I own has got flowers on it. Like most of my earrings have flowers on it. Everything I own has some kind of flower pattern on it. And I think for me, like, I'm always looking for different ways. Well, I wouldn't say always looking, more than gravitating towards things that are different and ways that I can get the floral elements and the nature elements and all those kinds of things in my home even more, and in what I wear. So I'm wondering if, on that same vein, whether there's something that we could do around that in terms of expanding your product line, especially because wedding season is coming up real fast. In fact, it's pretty much already here. And I really like the bouquet that you've got here. Like, I think
that's what I started with. That are like all the Birdman flowers.
Yeah.
And if you go in it, then you can select your own flower. And
I think that's lovely.
Yeah, that's really nice.
But what I have with that is a lot of people think they get a whole bouquet.
Yeah.
First picture.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to maybe make the picture with the 12 flowers separately.
So I think what you could do is you could either have them like this in a vase or something like that, and then you're taking individual pictures like January, February, March, then you're just kind of putting it all on one picture. I think that's how I would do it. But I do agree with you. I think it does look like you are getting the whole bunch. And I love the bunch, and I think that's amazing. I think the only thing I would say is, if you were going to do wedding bouquets and stuff like that, I'd maybe put the price. I don't know. I think I'd maybe put the price for the whole bouquet. Obviously, people like it because it's in 16 baskets. So obviously, people are really excited about it, and they really, really like it. I think this just says to me that there is a demand for the bouquets, but I think they want the styled bouquets ready done, so that they can just buy it, put it in that's it, done. So I'm wondering if there's some things you could do around that, having the actual ready-made bouquets, because it's obvious people love them. Yeah.
I think people struggle to pull things together, and I think that's essentially our job to do it for them. And I think people worry, thinking, "Oh, if I'll get one of that, but I'll never make it look as nice."
Yeah, they always ask me to choose the color myself and put it together like I wanted to.
So I think if you make it as easy as possible for people, then I think you're going to take away an objection, because I think you are right about this photo. I think that potentially will create an objection, something that's going to stop people buying.
Yeah, I did put it in the description as well. And I think I put it in my Dropbox as well, that it's one stem only.
Yeah, and I think even if it's like, I don't know if you can use Canva and things like that, but even like a little, almost a sticker. But I think personally, what I would do with this listing, I would make one for the bouquet and price that for the bouquet, and then I'd make individual listings for each and every type of flower.
Yeah, I have that as well.
Yeah, and then there's no confusion because I mean, have you even thought about doing like things like wreaths?
Yeah,
wreaths like this and bunting that, like
bunting.
Oh, I have 1,001 ideas. So I'm getting the time, because some flowers take up 6-7 hours to make.
Yeah,
which is obviously a significant amount of time, and you need to make sure that you charge your worth, because people will still pay that money.
A lot of people say that I'm underpaying myself. But...
They will do. I think so. You've obviously got a passion for flowers and making flowers. Is it the particular product that you're making that's your passion in terms of making the bouquets, or is it the flowers and you would be happy to look at other products as well? Do you know what I mean?
No, I'm really passionate about the flowers and the making of them. I just love making and then make them as realistic as possible.
Yeah, the honestly, they're absolutely beautiful. The colours are really nice, and even the way you've staged it there looks lovely. But I wonder if, going back to what Steph was saying, was maybe thinking about a core product range.
Yeah.
Like what Jane did with Jane within the last couple of months is deciding what a core product range is, and that could be you selling single stem of flowers, a bouquet of flowers, and a wreath. It could be something like that, or whatever what ignites you and what excites you. And I think that would help to give you a greater product range. I think it would help you to attract more people in as well.
Yeah. I also think as well, just going back, I know we're giving you a ton of ideas and things, but here, like I'm just looking, and I actually think it might be worthwhile putting in the photos. This is January's flower. This is February's. This is March. This is April.
And then put it in the picture itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm dropping down, and although I know what a daffodil looks like, I might not know what the delphinium looks like, or the gladioli, or
well, the problem with that listing is that I only can get 10 pictures in, and I have 12 months.
Yeah, so
I'm thinking of splitting it up in 2 listings each 6 months.
By seasons.
Yeah.
You do like spring, summer, autumn, winter.
Yeah, that's very, very true. I think I'm really excited for you, because I think there's so much potential here, and I know time is obviously a factor, but I think that it really would be worthwhile, first and foremost, personally doing the wedding bouquets and focusing on like different color themes. So if someone's got like a yellow wedding, yellow bouquet, white, cream, all those kinds of things, and just listing it as a bouquet and see what happens. And obviously have the drop down menus as well, where maybe they can have one stem, bouquet, whatever. But I think that would be my next step if I were in your shoes, because I'd want to make sure that I'm hitting on the buying seasons, especially being on Etsy, but between sort of April and September really is like wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, insane. So I think as well as bouquets, I think doing like buttonholes, mother of the bride arrangements. You've got those, I can't think what they're called, those wrist things that sometimes people wear. What are they called? Those, you know what I mean? The
Isn't it just a corsage?
That's it. Thank you. Corsage. Yes. I couldn't think of the blimmin' word. Anna also said, have you thought about doing a subscription box so someone could get a flower each month and by the end of the year they have a nice bunch of flowers? That's another thing you could do as well.
But how do you set that up then as a listing?
So I don't know if you'd be able to list it on Etsy. I think
the email list, but that's still not really big, or some trying to let it grow a bit more.
Yeah. So I don't know if that would be something you could sell on Etsy. I don't think you can sell subscriptions through Etsy. I'm not 100% on it. I know mystery boxes you can't, but on your own website, you could for sure do it. And I know you've got your own website. It's not really growing yet, but this is an idea maybe down the line.
If I've thought about it.
Yeah, if you're thinking, I want to create recurring revenue every single month, you could say, right, sign up for the year for the birth month. But I think coming back to this listing in the birth month and getting all the pictures in, I think what I would do is I would have all of the options on one picture to start off with. You've got little like boom, 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 but or even have six on one, 6 on the other. I think that would be, good. And then maybe what I'd be inclined to do is have this picture. And then if you can take it onto Canva and put a little arrow with gladioli and a little arrow saying daffodil, and then like having, this is the birth month for this is a birth flower for this. Just really making it obvious that this is what you're going to get. This is the correct flower for this month, etc. Because people obviously love it. And I think that might be an objection. People might go, oh, but I'm not really sure what the right flower is. I'm not sure how it's going to look or what have you.
Yeah.
Have you got any more questions or anything like that you wanted to ask?
No, but more how I can in overall optimize my Etsy shop.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've covered. I personally think it would. Let me go back to your shop. Oh, blimmin' it! How do I get back there? Let me go back to here. So I think overall you're wanting to get more viewers in and more visits in, right? Yeah. So I think to do that, what me and Jane have said about creating products in response to the demand that's on the marketplace, on the place that you're trying to sell. And I think to do that, I would certainly start off with the wedding stuff. Like, I think that is a product that meets the searches and the demand and everything that people want. And obviously keywording it as that as well. Yeah. I'm sure there's lots of different keywords that talk about a bouquet that you can keep, something like that. Yeah. So I think that's what I would do, because there's only so much that you can do with the listings that you have. There's only so many keywords that you can try and test. There's only so many times that you can do that. But if the demand is not there in that time period, there's not a lot you can do about it. And I think that's where a lot of people might see a dip in their traffic, because if the searches are not there, they're not going on at that particular time of year, then that's when I would say to bring in additional products. And certainly for you, wedding seems like a really good fit. Yeah. And buttonholes, corsages, all that kind of thing. So in terms of getting more visits and views, that's what I would do. Looking at the listings that you already have, let me go on to this one and just have a look.
My pictures need some work as well, so.
Yeah, but I mean, you're working your way through the course, so you'll get there. I think I'd just be careful maybe within like the title, just to use like the same keyword separator, so like the comma. I mean, it's only a very, very small thing.
Yeah.
But I think apart from that, let me have a look at your keywords for this particular listing that I've got. Crochet daffodil. I think that you're hitting the nail on the head with the keywords. I just think it's probably a case of getting your pictures right, because as we know, good pictures equals clicks. Doesn't matter if your keywords are stellar. If your pictures are not kind of where you want them to be, people are not going to click. So you might get shown, but then if you don't get clicks, you're not going to get shown again. So I would say pictures, but you're gonna get there when you get there in the course. I would say creating some new products for weddings. And I'd say actually the third thing would be looking at the occasions that your target audience would buy flowers, even if they're, you know, real flowers, and actually just seeing, okay, could I create a product that would meet that need? So if my target audience is saying, normally I would go out in this instance and buy flowers, could you create a product that would again meet that need for them, and having a little experiment and test with different things.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, your shop is amazing. I love it. I really love the bouquets, and I think me and Jane really love the bouquets, and I'm not surprised you're getting a lot of clicks and looks on that, because I think that looks stunning, and I think lean into that, put some more bouquets on. I think they're stunning.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, my lovely. Brilliant. Righty ho. Right, we have one more. I know this call has been going on for ages. I know. But Anna, you are next, my lovely. How are you?
I don't know why, but I feel really nervous. I hate
don't
talking
feel
about
nervous.
myself and stuff like that.
Oh, no, you're fine. So, right. Okie dokies. I'm just going to grab up your bits and bobs. So I've got so many tabs open. So do you want to start off by doing what everyone else has done and basically doing like a little explanation and just kind of like ease yourself into it? Talk a little bit about yourself and your business, and yeah.
Okay, so I started Anna Elizabeth Candles about 3 years ago, maybe longer than that now. And I was doing a lot of markets. And then sort of started the HBSA, which I'm really enjoying. I'm on phase 4, I think, with where I am at the moment.
Brilliant.
So working my way through that. And then I think that's helped me with my Etsy quite a lot. I have got a website which kind of like has gone by the wayside a little bit. But I'm really trying to focus on my Etsy page at the moment. I'm 3 sales off 300 sales, so I'm quite happy with that. So it's only very, very small, but I'm over the moon with how far I've got.
That's really good.
And that's come in like a year. So I really started to build on it sort of January of last year. Had a really busy Christmas.
Brilliant.
Really busy January, which I was quite surprised about. February was quite busy as well. March was really quiet. And then yesterday I had 3 sales, so it sort of like picked up a bit again yesterday. But I'm missing like the consistency of having that all the time. I suppose like the end goal is I'm a teacher full time. I really don't want to be a teacher full time anymore. I've had enough. So if I could drop a day or even 2 and sort of replace that with the business, I'd be absolutely over the moon. So long-term goal, that's where I'm aiming for.
Okay, perfect. So you're kind of aiming towards getting that consistency. And really, can you just talk to me a little bit about your target audience for me?
So I think so mostly women, from like 25 to 60, people that are interested in home decor. I'm kind of almost doing like a rebrand slightly. I've changed my wax recently. I've just started a new wellness collection. So my sort of target audience for that's slightly different to what I had been doing before. So I don't want to, I'm in a bit of a muddle with where I'm at with that at the moment. I don't want to lose the target audience I've had and I've built up to then start a new one. So I'm really trying to sort of go with this sort of a sustainability. The amber candles that you can see on my website there, I'm phasing those out completely. Because I just want to go with like the frosted ones. The mini egg candles, obviously they were just for Easter, they'll be going. I want ones that I can use to really highlight our refillable candles, which are just the frosted glass rather than the musical ones as well, are refillable, but not the amber.
Right, got you. Okay. I really love the idea of the refillable candles, because the amount of jars that I have that I've saved, and I'm like, okay, what do we do here? What do we do? So I think that is a really, really good idea. So talk to me just a little bit about your rebrand and kind of where you were versus where you want to go.
I think where I want to go more is to focus on the sustainability of it all, because so many jars just end up, like you said, they're useless.
Yeah.
So sort of the wellness collection, they're actually they're Portuguese coffee cups. So they can be reused as coffee cups, or they could be reused as plant pots, or whatever you wanted. Someone said about makeup brushes, so basically you can reuse them for whatever you want. But I'm also working on an actual refill for those. I haven't quite got the size right at the moment, but it's on the cards.
Yeah.
And the same with the car air fresheners. I've got a refill bottle for those, so they could be refilled up to 3 times afterwards. So really trying to push that sort of idea of, well, yeah, you can buy a product off me, but you can also buy refills off me in the future.
Got you. Okay, brilliant. So what would be your, okay, so we've talked about, I'm just having a little think. So what would be your goal then? So in terms of like, let's just say by the end of this week. So we've got here by Sunday, you want to review and rewrite 3 Etsy product titles using the HBSA SEO framework to make them clearer, more searchable. Yes, love that.
Yeah.
I really like the direction, because I've worked with quite a lot of candle makers,
a lot of us,
both in the HBSA and like, you know, out of that. And I'm pretty sure, I might be wrong, someone might be like, oi, it's me, but I'm pretty sure you're the first one to do the whole refillable, sustainable, and I can see a definite difference from sort of like here going to like here, even like in your pictures, like they're a lot warmer, they're a lot more inviting. I love it. I think that's all really, really good.
I know you don't like the wooden things.
No. The wooden things are fine. It's wooden floors. They're different.
Okay.
Sometimes needs must, but yeah. But I really like where you're going with it, and I feel as if I say to you, do you know who your target audience is? Yes. Do you know like your products and kind of exactly where you're carving out your niche? You said yes. In terms of your branding, let's just talk about that real quick. How are you feeling about that?
I wanted to be part of the brandathon, and I was all signed up. I was there. I managed to watch a couple of the lives, but teacher full time, it just a really busy time of year. I've got a production coming up in like 6 weeks. It's just so much to try and do at the same time. So I was gutted I missed out on that. I did sort of watch a couple of the lives, and I think we spoke about mine on one of the HBSA calls, and like my banner I changed. It was quite my logo I've changed a little bit as well. So I've started to look into it. All my cards, all my packaging all have like the eucalyptus leaves and stuff. So I'm trying to keep that throughout everything that I do.
Yeah, love that. I think what I love is like the wellness side of it. Like I really like that. I'm just trying to think of words to describe it, but it's almost like wellness for you and wellness for the planet as well. I really like that
That's
side
cool.
of it.
The wellness collection came out of like, I hit complete burnout this time last year. I was a complete mess. And it's the 3 candles that I've got, the sort of the aqua, the yellow and the pink. They're all little pots of stuff. So the yellow is like a little pot of energy, the pink's a little pot of positivity, and they've all got essential oils in to sort of help with like mood boosting as well.
I love that. That's really, really good. I think like a little crystal in there would be really cool as well, wouldn't it? Like
a few people have said about those.
Yeah. So I really like the wellness side of things that you're sort of going into. And I think all that's really needed in the short space of time that I've had to look, I think that you just need to carry on down that road. And I think gradually you'll phase out like the stuff that doesn't really, you know, like in terms of like the photos and all that kind of thing. I think you'll gradually kind of phase that out. I think as well, like you said about like hitting burnout and still doing the teaching thing full time. I think it's just the same as like what we've said with others on this call, is that it's just about doing a little bit of the right thing every day,
The problem is I want to do more business than I do teaching, but I need the teaching to pay for everything else.
No, I know. And it is really, really hard, and you've got lots of ideas, but I really like the direction that you're going down. And I love the refillable side of things. I think that in itself could be a really big thing. And I'm also seeing that you said about subscription boxes, and I'm wondering how could we do that with like refills? Like could they order, subscribe and get 20% off refills or something like that?
I like that. I started with like so like the first subscription box was like a 30 centiliter, one of the frosted candles with the lids. So the first box they'd get was the frosted candle and a refill to go with it, and then every month then was a different scent refill to go in the jar.
Love that. What are you doing in terms of like gift boxes or gifting occasions, if you like?
Probably not as much as I should be. So a lot of the candles I just personalize the boxes. I can personalize the candles as well very easily. I do all the printing and stuff for the labels. I do all myself. But probably don't utilize that as much as I could, or I did quite a lot, and I used to put quite a lot of like different personalized labels and stuff on candles. And then when I was doing the craft fair markets, obviously because personalization is a bit more niche, isn't it? Like I find that they weren't selling, so I hadn't done as many of those. But a lot of people, I think most of my listings have got the option to personalize the box if they want to, so everything comes pretty much gift wrapped.
I love that. I'm just watching the video here as well. I think that's really, really good. I think the only thing it's not coming across on your newer listings that they almost do come gift wrapped, and I think like you might be missing a bit of a trick in terms of I wonder if maybe could you create like a picture. And I don't even think you need to change anything. I'm just wondering if maybe you could take this candle here, have a picture of it. I'm just gonna have a look, see if you've already got one. A picture of it in the box or something like that. But I actually have this as a listing where it's like I don't know, new home gift, and like have a listing with that in it, and kind of really, really do that side of it. I'm not sure if you've tried that. Have you?
No.
Because I think
I've got one like different personalized candles, like good luck convincing the neighbors you're normal and stuff like that, which is personalized on the candle, but not as in like a box.
Because I'm thinking that would be a really good opportunity, because we've mentioned again a couple of times that when people have lulls in Etsy orders, Etsy traffic, it's usually one of two things. It's usually number one, the demand has just dropped. And obviously in the summer, I personally don't light a lot of candles because it's light until like, I don't know, 9:30. And I'm like, well, I didn't get to light my candle because I'm in bed by like 9:30. So it's like my window of opportunity has kind of gone here.
I'm going to do a garden candle in the next few weeks. That's going to be launched.
And I'm just thinking, like, for anyone that is experiencing that drop, it could be either something going on in the world, like, what we've talked about, or it could be that the search demand has just dropped off because for some reason people are not searching for that anymore. So I'm wondering if, like, could we introduce some kind of product / listings? And when I say listings, I mean we're coming up to wedding season. Like I said, we're coming up to gifting season. A lot of birthdays happen in like May, June, July. So I'm wondering if we could literally just not even change the product, but just show a picture of the product in a nice box. And it's like, gift for birthday, May, but whatever. And I think that would be a really quick way, because I know that you're all about like time and stuff like that. I think that would be a really quick way to increase the views for people who are not looking for, so they're not typing in candles, but they're maybe typing in gift for, I don't know, new home, or gift for this or gift for that. I think doing that, because like you said, you're basically gift wrapping them anyway. So show that off more. And I think once people see that they are gift wrapped, they will be more inclined to not only buy them for themselves, but also buy them as gifts as well.
That makes sense.
So I think that would be one thing that I would suggest. as like maybe like your first port of call. Like if you want to increase the views and the visits, that would be like the first thing. Trisha's just said wedding candle season, pagan season too, so that could be like a pagan thing there.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I am getting from you is that you almost have like, you're in a transitional period where you've got all of these like personalized labels and candles and like, but then you're like, yeah, but actually I really like the calmness, the aromatherapy, all of that type of thing. And I think when you're going through a transition like that, it's a really good idea to continuously talk about it on your social media. And I really like that you are really kind of, you've touched upon it, but I think you can really do with being like, okay, this is what I've learned as a candle maker, introducing aromatherapy into her line. Boom, like even that is just like a really good reel, like boom boom boom, this is good for this is good for that. And I think that's what I would do. I would maybe I'm just having a little look. I really like the setup as well. I think for anyone who does in-person markets, like if you go to the HBSA, it's in phase 4. It's the what's it called? The in-person module. I think it would be a really good idea as well for anyone who sells in person to get as much like social media content as you possibly can, which I love the fact that you've got this. So
my high vis really goes with my brand, doesn't it?
You're like, I got to wear this, I don't want to, but like obviously your reels where you're showing behind the scenes, I mean they always do, but the reels where you're showing behind the scenes do really, really well. I think as well, like I would love to see you really fully lean into like the wellness and the aromatherapy and like that side of it. I don't know if Jane's got anything, because I feel like I've yapped for like 20 minutes straight.
No, I think what I would like to see more of in your social media, because I think obviously you're trying to increase your sales. That's one of the things, and the way that Steph's been talking about increasing your product range is naturally going to do that. But I think one way of you driving your own traffic is definitely through your social media, but building more of maybe like almost like a lifestyle brand.
Yeah.
Okay.
In terms of the benefits of using your candles, whether that's sustainability or on your mental health, and bringing more of the lifestyle into that. I think that would really, really help people again. And I know it's a phrase I use all the time. It's so people can envisage using it themselves. But that's one of the biggest drivers that we've got. 99% of the time we're driven by emotion. So I think if you can get that emotion, getting that lifestyle, whether it's, being nice and fresh or being serene and calm, just maybe try thinking about how you can bring that lifestyle into your social media as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think just going off of that as well, like I think talking about how important scent is, a lot of people see it as a bit of an afterthought, but it's not an afterthought. It's actually something that's super important, and a lot of people have found benefits from it. I
think one of my favorite things, I did a craft fair and the lady like picked up one of the candles. It was a tobacco and honey, and she, that sounds really unusual. She sniffed it and she was like, oh, it just reminds me of sitting on my granddad's knee when I was a kid. And there's like little things like that, like evoking memories and stuff I really love.
Yeah,
you could do a reel like that where you're sniffing a candle and it's like a little pop-up of, oh, it reminds me of this. I think like your goal for the next couple of months is really to like make sure that people understand, or all the people that follow you, how important scent is and aromatherapy is, because that's what you want to be selling, it sounds like, is that experience rather than just a candle.
Yeah.
Awesome. Esther says, my husband loves candles and well-being. Have you thought about a men's collection? Mandals.
Mandals.
That would be brilliant, because a lot of candles are, I guess, aimed towards women, so I think it might be quite good. Also as well, like, let me tell you, anytime you can have something aimed as a gift for men, it always seems to do well, because people are always like, what do I buy him for Christmas or for his birthday? So that's an idea.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I like that. I
Is there
did
any
do
other-
it like a while ago. I did like a perfume aftershave and like a cleaning collection, and the aftershave ones went down really well actually, and they came in the frosted jar, so that's something I could almost bring back.
Yeah, and
The
actually
sort of
you
the more muscly, manly smells.
Yeah, and actually you said about the cleaning collection, like that sounds really cool, like a candle that you put on whilst you're cleaning up.
Yeah, I'm
That
that
sounds-
person that as soon as my house is tidy and like the candle's lit, no one's allowed to touch anything. Like,
Yeah,
that is it.
and I'm sure there are a lot more people like that who are like, yes, I need to signify that the work is done, the day is done, that's it.
Yeah.
And I think that is the thing with candles, is that that they are a saturated market if you're just selling a candle.
Yeah.
But you want to lean into, I'm not just selling it. This is not a candle. Don't think of it as a candle. Think about it as an aromatherapy experience, a mood changer, something that changes your day, changes your mood, changes how you feel about things. I think that's really important.
It's really helpful. Thank you.
Brilliant. Is there any blah, 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 blah. I can tell I've been doing this for 3 hours. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Is there any other questions that you have, or are you all good?
I don't think so. One thing I've struggled about massively is getting like engagement on my social media. So I can get a lot of people that follow me, people that know me, but they don't necessarily, I think they're just being nosy. They don't necessarily then go and buy the candles.
I think
It's
I think a lot of that is probably to do with the going through the transitional period. I like the AI thing, but I wonder if we can make that more you.
Yeah, that was me playing for the Easter holidays.
Yeah. Like I really like this, and I really do. I think to be honest with you, it is something that just happens as you, because as you're transitioning, you're changing from the followers that have followed you because they liked what you did before, versus when you are starting to change, you are always going to get that dip, because you start to change your messaging, and then people are like, oh, this is different to what I'm kind of used to, and what's she doing now, sort of thing. And I think, to be honest with you, with the followers that you have, your engagement is not bad.
Okay.
I think my top tip for getting engagement is carousels and reels, and make sure that the carousels and reels stop people's scrolls. Something that always works well is like behind the scenes time lapses, which is what you've done. And I think showing more just of you in the day-to-day living of the business. Yeah, okay, some things you think, oh, I'm going to post that, people are going to love this, and they don't, and you're like, huh? What? But sometimes you post things and it just hits a nail on the head and people love it, like this one. Like this is great. And
it's tea lights. Every time I do anything reels with tea lights, they go mad.
Yeah, because people see a lot of candles being made, but not a lot of tea lights being made, probably. And don't forget as well, like, follower numbers don't mean a great deal. It is the engagement piece that is like the main thing that I would say is the metric to focus on. So I think now you've had a little reshuffle with your rebrand, your products, your focus. I think if for the next two months, I think if you focus on that a little bit more, and say, okay, right, I'm gonna go all in on like the aromatherapy thing. I'm gonna go all in on that, and I'm gonna see the changes and see if different kind of people start to follow me, because that's the other thing as well. People will unfollow you and you'll be like, oh, it's a personal attack on me. It's not, I promise. But I think my best advice for you for social media would be carousels, reels, focus on those two things. Do a story a day, and do those
terrible stories.
Yeah. So carousels and reels are what gets new people in. Carousels are great because they're a bit of both. They're a bit of getting new people in, they're a bit of nurturing the people that you already have. Stories are solely to nurture people that you already have. If you do more than one a day, the views tend to drop. So I would just focus on doing one a day, put an engagement sticker on there, because if someone engages with your story and clicks the sticker, your next reel carousel will get shown higher. So it's just little tweaks, right? Yeah. Brilliant. So thank you so much for hopping on and like chatting, and thank you for like waiting as well, because I know you've been here right from the beginning and you're like patiently like so yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right then, my lovely. Right, I'm gonna take that off. Oh, okay. We have arrived at the end of a mammoth call. Obviously, as you guys know, the HBSA, I'm so used to saying that. The Rise is open now. I'll pop the link in again. Does anyone have any questions about Rise or anything they want to ask us to go over? Don't forget, you do have the whole week. The doors to Rise will close on the 30th of April at 8 p.m. It might close sooner if we do fill those 8 spots, or we feel like we've hit 7 and we're like that's kind of a nice sweet spot. We might close it sooner. So it is something where it's like, I wouldn't, if you are like, yeah, I'm in, I'm there, I wouldn't leave it to the last minute, because we might go, we want to keep it small. Obviously, as you can imagine, today has been a little bit manic with like this person, but it's not normally like that. It's normally a lot more chill, because we've had so many people in. We want to make sure to keep the group small, so we might well close it beforehand. But if anyone does have any questions, I'll pop my Instagram doobie below as well. So if you do want to voice note me or send me a DM, or you want to, I don't know, do whatever you want, the link is there. Get the most out of the taste, but yeah, that's fine. If you are like, nah, I don't think I'm going to do Rise, that's fine. You've had a taster now, you know what it's like. Maybe the next time it opens, you might be like, yeah, okay, I remember that was really, really good. You know, it's all good. I don't know if we're going to be doing a taster week again, mind you, so it might be something that, yeah, we revisit later on. But yeah, if there is any questions or anything you want to talk about, then let us know. Thank you so much for everyone for being here. I hope that you've gotten a good amount from it, even if it's not when you were chatting to us, but maybe when other people were or what have you. And I hope that you've enjoyed it. Let me know. Thumbs up. Was it good? Are you like, yeah, this is awesome? Okay, good. Brilliant. All right, and my lovelies, this call will be recorded, so if you want to watch it back for whatever reason, it will be in the community. We will continue to support you throughout this whole week, and the community will be open, but we won't be like actively posting until like after the end of this week, if that makes sense. But it will be up and there until the 30th, the same as when the doors to Rise will close. But for now, my lovelies, thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you an amazing week. Bye, everyone. Toodaloo. I've lost my button. Where's my button? There's